Hello everybody, welcome back to Doggo Card Reviews. We are here with episode 8 of our Scrapbook series. This is preparing for World Grand Prix Continentals / Nationals. Joined here again
Oh,
with Gavin.
oh boy, oh boy. Welcome to everybody. Pretty much welcome to 99% of Weiss players plateau.
Plateau, oh boy. Well, moving along then. Gotta get some background information right.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, the World Grand Prix, henceforth known as the WGP, is the premier sanctioned circuit for Japanese Weiss Schwarz, along with Bushiroad's other Japanese trading card game products. Upon finishing with a strong enough record at a regional event, a player receives an invite to their country's or continent's national / continental tournament, where they can earn a subsequent invite to the World Finals held in Japan, 2020 Japan Championship and North American Online aside. And in here we will explore how one can prepare for this leg of a player's competitive journey to have a successful event run after earning an invite from a regional event.
Okay, so disclaimer for the majority of you. So a lot of this information implies that we're not under a global pandemic. These are under normal times where travel is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of this advice will pertain to that as opposed to the pandemic situation, which let's just say I'm not exactly the most thrilled about.
I don't think most players are particularly fond of it either, but if anything, let's at least learn to remain safe and healthy before anything else.
Right, right, right. I mean, I have no problems with that. It's just more of, oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. The solution, I don't like the solution. I don't like
I don't know if I would call it a solution, more so as being a
a compromise.
no, I was just gonna call it a simple placeholder, which
Well,
is not,
again,
which in my opinion is not a true solution.
it's not a true solution. It's not even a true compromise. You know what? But honestly, I will speak more about it when we hit the pandemic portion of this commentary.
Alrighty, well, moving along here. So people might be going, so what gives you two in particular the right to even do this? I'm glad you asked. Credentials. Gavin here, he has earned an invite in 2017 at Las Vegas, Nevada. In 2 years after that, he earned an invite through the last chance qualifier at Rochester, New York. And in 2020, this year, he has earned an online invite at Phoenix, Arizona. And myself, I have earned the first place invite at San Jose, California in 2017. And I have earned an invite this year as well at the Santa Clara, California online regional.
So, did they ever say anything about posting the interviews for
Um, I
for
don't
these
think
regional winners?
I don't think they've gone around like, posting them yet. I just know that because all right, so both Gavin and I know that the TOs told the people who were the one undefeated person to answer some interview questions.
I mean, they've made every single person that has placed at the in person variant to answer interview questions. So I'm just like, oh man, oh boy, looking, and they even posted their lists. So I was just like, oh man, looking back at that 2017 list, oh man, I cringe. I
But
cringe.
hey, that's how you know you've improved as a player, right?
Oh man,
If you
I'm
can
embarrassed.
if you can cringe at your previous successes, I believe that says you're doing something right.
This is more of, oh god, no.
Alrighty, I guess we should move on to the actual meat.
Yep, let's move on to the meat and potato, shall we?
Sure thing. So, deck choice. With the goal of performing well at the national / continental level, a player should take strong consideration as to which deck they bring for the event. While a player can get away with playing lower tier decks at the regional level to get an invite, the National/Continental event will prove to be a much tougher nut to crack. As such, a player looking for the highest chance of success should consider building and playing a higher tier deck, as it will have the additional consistency and reach necessary to put up a tough fight. Of course, a player's comfort level with a deck should also be taken into account, as the best deck in the game may not necessarily be the best deck for them. Comfortability and confidence go a long way here.
Alright, so how should I say this? You should already have an idea of what you want to play for nationals as soon as you qualify. As soon as the judge declares that you're one of the 4 or X amount of qualifying players, and you decided in your head that you're heading down to New York, you should already have a solid game plan in mind. Because under normal circumstances, you have 6 weeks. Or even less time. I typically have around 6 weeks to prepare myself.
Yeah, it does depend on how early or late your regional is in the circuit. Like, heaven forbid you get your invite in like that final weekend right before.
Oh my god!
The regional.
I feel bad for your airfare at that point, airfare and hotel. But regardless, okay, it does not necessarily have to be the same deck. In fact, a lot of players will not go head into the national level with the same deck. Now, of course, there are 2 mentalities that I've noticed. Either A, they are trying to take the national tournament. They're trying to win. Or B, they're there to have fun for the most part and, test something new. Because I've seen players take decks that just came out like the week prior. That have little to no practice with, and you're trying to qualify with, and you're trying to win the national tournament with a deck that you're essentially cold with. Like, sure, I'll admit, for the regional level, that's fine. You can easily take a tournament at the regional level with a deck that you're cold with. I did it this year with Takapo. I literally did it this year with Takapo. And yes, I will reveal that to the audience. Yes, I have Takapo. But at the same time, I literally got the deck in the mail the day before. I read over the cards. I was like, oh, okay, I know what they do. And I was able to go 2-1 against 2 Arizonans that know what the deck does. Well, again, both of them misplayed, but again, I don't think either one of them cared.
Right.
In fact, one of the guys was pretty much, I think he was high at the time. I'm not sure.
Holy shit.
The other guy was really high as a kite. And then the other guy, he was 2-0. It was going to be a 3-round tournament. He was getting in regardless. He
was like, okay, I don't care if I like mess up. I'm gonna get the invite regardless. It just means if I don't make it, I just don't do the interview beforehand.
I mean, it was more of, he was like, well, he didn't actually care about the result of that duel, so, and I lost to a fucking mean deck. Literally, it was a local that I lost to. We both went to Arizona this year, and he was all like, yeah, dude, this is a meme deck that I have no intention. I'm just like, I asked him, do you have any intention of playing in the national tournament? He's like, no. No, dude, I don't like the whole, I really don't feel comfortable with the whole national thing, Like, okay. But anyways, so, yes, you obviously should take in a deck that you're comfortable with. Like, how should I say this? You don't want to spread yourself so thin. You don't want to spread yourself so thin that you don't know what you're... Like, you have no proficiency with your deck. You want to have a variety of decks, but at the same time, you don't want to have so many decks you're just like, I'm not as familiar with the intricacies behind it.
Right. In that case, I would say you're better off taking either a lower tier A deck and mastering the shit out of that than trying to build like the best 10 decks in the format, but only spending like, a tenth of your time and energy trying to master them and failing to do so.
Now, unfortunately, I don't take my own co-host's advice here because I have a massive plethora of decks.
He does, and he'll tell y'all. He's had to abandon some of these along the way.
Oh man, it's again, they're all powerful decks. There's a reason why I chose to build them, but oh boy, you got to trim some of that fat. You really have to trim some of it because if you want to succeed at the national level, be prepared to be facing the best players on planet Earth here. Yeah, North America is home to very strong players.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go into nationals expecting to face a trial deck round 1 or a beam deck round 1. Don't go in expecting that.
Right. The people who go there are purposefully, like, over half of the players, I would say, but for sure, are trying to earn that world invite.
Imagine being paired up, say, a very early round. Would you say round 2 is very early?
Round 2 is pretty early, yes.
Imagine facing Jun O. You stare at that sheet and you get you versus Jun. You just go, oh, I don't know about you, man, but what would your initial thoughts about that be?
Oh yeah, no, I have firsthand. I mean, so to the audience here, June is one of the reasons why I'm even here with Gavin. Honestly speaking, if it wasn't for June, there would be no Doggo card reviews, because that man has helped me refine my technique. He helped give me those first initial steps I needed to refine the way I play Weiss Schwarz. He knows what he's doing. He could, sure, he may not play the best decks in format, but he knows how to play against the best decks in format, as well as really putting the pressure on even the best players in the game. He's scary. He's scary. You have to respect him.
Even when he is fucked. Even when he is fucked.
He'll find a way.
Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so my own war story with Jun. His climaxes were all at the bottom of the deck. Jun kept eating it. And I was still biting my nails the entire duel.
You respect his ability, his proficiency at the game.
Yeah. Now, he was playing Railgun, as predicted.
Mm-hmm.
At first he created that whole ruse of having Diva, but I was like, let me just see what he has. And I was like, there's no way he's playing Diva. If he's playing Diva, I know... You know what's funny is? A lot of high-level players are expecting... A lot of players at these tournaments are much more proficient with the quote-unquote the A and S tier. The A and S tier. They're much more familiar with those sets and those decks.
Definitely makes sense.
But again, there is a... I wouldn't necessarily discount the maniac, the madman, the guy. I mean, imagine sitting across Darling in the Franxx. You just go, what does this deck even do?
But because you're unfamiliar with it, we'll get more into deck stuff later on, but the real point we're trying to drive home here is mastery over one's deck. And, choosing a deck is one thing, mastering it is another.
Right. Mastery and proficiency over deck strength.
Mm-hmm.
Jun is a classic example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Most players wouldn't even tier Railgun at this point. They wouldn't even bother giving Railgun a chance.
Right. But if you're someone like Jun who really knows the ins and outs of Railgun, as well as knowing the ins and outs of higher tier decks that you're expecting to see at this event, You can definitely turn Railgun into a force to be reckoned with.
It's the Soul Sleeper approach. I try to emulate Jun into someone like Soul Sleeper. In fact, that's the approach I take with Soul Sleeper at this point, the Jun method.
Mm.
Because you often won't see the man with high tier decks.
Mm.
Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say that now.
But you know, prior to this year.
Prior to this year, you won't see him with anything that is quote unquote meta. So my approach with him was proficiency. And yes, he has been to nationals multiple times. He hasn't done particularly well at nationals. I haven't necessarily been able to watch his games, so I couldn't tell, and the majority of his opponents don't really say much about him.
Mm.
So they don't really remember their match with him because, well, again, they just see him as the easy round 1 victory. But, never ever assume that your opponent is an easy win.
Mm-mm.
Like, okay. Like, unless they're playing something like a trial deck, like, I wouldn't assume that.
Right.
And even a trial deck in a decent player's hands can be, well, a decent threat.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily game-winning, but again,
It can at least put the pressure on.
it can at least put the pressure on. It would be the equivalent of someone with a competent deck who's screwed. But even then, there are intricacies behind your deck choice. Like, for example, what I would do for a lot of players, especially those that like having, a variety of decks, throw together a small gauntlet of decks. Throw together a small selection of decks that you want. Essentially, pick your all-stars of the season and go with those. Of course, as the season changes, the season may change throughout the course. But at the same time, don't make too many changes. Otherwise, you'll wind up in the same situation we described earlier. You have too many decks, and your jack of all trades, master of none.
Right. That's the last thing you want to avoid when you're playing this game competitively.
In fact, I would argue you have like 3 or 4 decks that you're a master of, rather than 12 that you have little to no proficiency with.
Right.
In fact, especially if you're rather predictable and play S and A tier sets / decks, because your competition will know your deck better than you do.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk more about like being able to, play to the best of not just your deck, but also play to the best of the matchup. But more on that later.
Right. All right. So I think any final thoughts on deck choice?
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah. I think we just need to drive home that mastery over a tiny number of games over just owning and only simply playing, but not truly mastering like 12.
I just put out 12 as an arbitrary number, but it could be even more than that. It could be even more.
Heaven forbid you're at like 30 decks.
I almost spat my pee at the monitor.
Alrighty. Now, while we're on deck choice really quicker, we do need to go over something that did happen recently. A new restriction list did occur, so hold up before you actually pick that deck of yours. You may have earned your invite playing one of these 4 titles of Saikano, Day Alive, Sword Art Online, or The Fruit of Grisaya, and therefore are affected by these restrictions taking effect on December 1st, 2020. That is less than a week from today. Today's November 26th. Take into consideration these restrictions while deciding on your deck and making other preparations.
What's hilarious is I don't know why Bushiroad even puts the here's the list and here's the date that list takes effect, because I don't know about you, Matt, but the grand majority of players change their decks immediately. Like, not even 24 hours later.
Okay, to be fair, at least it's not like the way Konami does it. Konami's being like much terrible at this because they say restriction lists will come no earlier than this date.
I mean, it might as well be the Konami system. It might as well be.
Right, but okay. It matters for people who like they still have like one more like locals or regionals to play at before this whole thing happens. It's a courtesy period.
It's a courtesy period, right? It's a courtesy period, but oh
Like
come on!
I wish it was at least like 2 weeks long instead of the 1 week, but wish it was like
But
1 week is fair.
but judging by player behavior,
Oh yeah, no, definitely get it. People want to test out the post restriction decks ASAP. Of
is
course. Now we have to keep in mind. I will say like this one like disclaimer. Gavin is mainly talking about people outside of Japan because for the most part, if you are a Weiss Schwarz player outside of Japan, chances are you go to a local tournament no more than once, if you're lucky, twice a week. A Japanese player can go maybe up to like 4 or 5 locals in a single week.
pretty much they live, breathe, eat, and sleep this game.
Right, I guess that's why you have websites like WS4696.xyz sharing deck lists up the wazoo from all these different local events.
Right, because literally, I mean, how should I say this? People love to treat Japan as the fucking Bible. Just to go a bit off topic here, people love to treat Japanese lists like they're the fucking Bible. I would be hard. I think it would be easier. I'm gonna go a bit political on this one. I think it would be easier for me to convince someone that voted for Joe Biden to change their vote to Donald Trump than it would be for me to convince somebody who pretty much treats Japan like godhood to do anything else.
Very, very bold claim.
I think.
I wish not to speak much on this claim.
I mean, I know it's a very bold claim, but at the same time, I think it would be easier for me to change somebody's political view. But regardless, that is how much that everybody outside of Japan loves to treat these so-called Japanese locals and lists.
Right, now, of course, the one thing I'll play devil's advocate really quickly here, Gavin. Of course, frequency. We are seeing these lists pop up almost on a daily basis, right? Because they're holding these tournaments. If it's not at Card Kingdom, it might be at like some other shop in Akihabara or in Uwen, I don't know, somewhere else, right?
But here's the thing. Here's the caveat that majority of people don't seem to realize. Japan has a very specific playstyle. They're pretty much the definition of tunnel vision. They tunnel vision themselves into a few archetypes and only play those archetypes. They legitimately ignore half a set, at least. In fact, we're the only modern day card review group that reviews literally all 100 cards of a set. I have seen no other channel on YouTube that reviews every single card of a set. Like, legitimately speaking, next time you're on YouTube, go ahead and type into that search bar, say Sao 10th anniversary, Weiss Schwarz set review, and you'll see highlights at best. You will not see cards 1 through 100 reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the majority of people think that's a gigantic waste of time, and I'm going, no.
You might find some neat treasures of Mr. Ruff.
Right.
Or dominating the rough, if you will.
And that's pretty much the definition of tunnel vision. Like, it's... but anyway, so Anyway, so back to the restrictions. I will give a little bit of a tirade on each of the bands, and I'll pass the buck on to you and have you give your opinion on the band. Is that fair?
Sure.
All right, Saikano. Wow. You know, I was almost right with this one. I did not predict him to hit the level 3. I really didn't. I honestly thought they would hit Gaming All Night instead, because Bushiroad loves to target events, because, unironically speaking, even in this game, non-creature spells are really, really fucking powerful. Or at least can be really, really fucking powerful. And if you were to read the text of Gaming All Night, you'd be like, this card is shit. Why would you do that? But in Saikano, oh my god, no. It is so good. Because the things that don't get to untap during your untap step, they won't matter. They won't matter because they won't matter. So, alrighty, the runner. Fair enough. I mean, it was a runner. It's your deck myth. JC. Again, it's to add consistency to the amount of exiled cards. And New Story Megami. Well, this is your obvious quote-unquote choice if you were to still play Saikano post restriction. Unironically, I'm one of those types of people that goes, Saikano, I've been looking for a reason to send this deck to the Shadow Realm. I have been looking for a reason to just permanently exile this deck, because I think my co-host can attest to this. I'm absolutely miserable playing this deck. It is so boring. I'd rather play fucking Sao over this 10 times over. Unironically. Like, what? It's like playing this deck is worse than watching paint dry. Like, shit. I'd rather be, I'd literally rather, I don't know, I'd rather be taking a nap than playing Saikano. I'll say that much. Date Alive. Well, we have the Broken Shido event. Hey, I was mostly right about this one. Mostly right, except the uniform look. Now, I can understand why they hit uniform look in addition to the other two cards, because Japan hoard the crap out of it. And what does Bushiroad bans based on? Japan and Japan only. Like, I swear, the most xenophobic. They're one of the most xenophobic, and also one of the most closed-minded. Like, they don't look to any other country's lists. But regardless, the event, no. Yeah, but come on. The event was nice, but I don't know, man. How many times have you seen me cast the event? Like, ever?
Maybe once every 3 times you play the title.
Like, once a game, right?
At best, but I think average is more like you activate 1/3 of these a game.
Right.
Like,
so
every 3 games, feels more like every 3 games. Okay, you see a situation to actually play the game. Maybe like, okay, probably like once per game is probably more or less on the money. At best.
And which mode do I usually pick?
Grab something from waiting room, right?
oh, pulls you. Okay. And worst Spirit Kudumi, come on, that was obvious. Anybody who knows anything about this second could have seen the level 3 Kudumi from a country mile. If you're even half decent at the game and you know about the set, come on. Kudumi is the thing that you would suspect would be on the ban list immediately. Uniform look. Why is this on the list again? Like, I don't get it. It's like, does Japan have standby so far up its ass that they seriously need to restrict something that a 1/0 that gets 1500 and a free scry on the opponent's turn. Like, it's one of those things. I'm just like, I mean, Japan plays blank standby, like almost 100% of the time. Like Japan's willing to play blank standby, and they consider that good. It confuses the crap out of me, but yeah, I think Kurumi is the obvious choice here. I think we can leave the other two in the abyss. Or uniform look is. I don't think the event is correct at all. The event is correct in any situation. If you want to play an alternative finisher, which Dal has plenty of, you can play uniform look. SAO, Sword Art Online. The sacred cow that thought it was untouchable. Now, realistically, this should have been a Sao 10th Annie. This is Sao 10th Annie only, because 10th Annie and Classic Sao pretty much are incompatible. The runner. Why? I'm just scratching my head because I never played the card. I don't like runners at all. I just don't like runners because I'm just like, every time I play runner, Soul Sleeper goes, bomb, it's dead, your choice. I just go, fuck. I was counting on this runner to live. He's like, of course not. Runner's never going to live against me.
Never. Strong word.
Okay. So, out of 100 times I've played the runner has lived 5 times out of 100.
Holy shit, man's keeping count.
The man eliminates runners that consistently.
95% success rate. Let's get it.
I mean, unless the bloody thing is level 1 and a 3/5, it's not going to live against him.
Okay, and so basically next to no runners.
Basically, yes. Basically, runners are so ineffective against him. Now you might be like, that's just one person. Yes, and majority of people fail to realize that a lot of Weiss is played locally. A lot of this game is played locally.
Mm-hmm.
At the national level, at a big tournament, I just go, I don't count on a runner living more than half the time. I wouldn't count on a runner living more than half the time. If even half the time is correct. Instead, I would play a Jumper Joe instead.
If it's available.
If it's available. Sao has one. Nobody plays it. But the runner is easily substitutable. The administrator. Okay, this one really has me confused. Why?
Again, since I'll quickly intervene here, because you mentioned standbys playing up the wazoo in Japan.
Really? It neutralizes their hand encore?
Pretty sure that's the main reason that they even did it. Yeah.
I see.
I don't see any other reason.
It goes to exile?
Okay, well, I still wasn't trying to play for the exile count game whatsoever.
True.
It only needs the one. It only needs the one Heathcliff, and it's fine.
And that's what. And if you want exile, Saikano has you covered. Saikano, Grisaya, hell, even Slime has you covered in that case. You don't play Sal for its exile count.
No, you play Sal the shit on standby. Let me rephrase that. You play Sal to really screw over the decks that crush hard on standby.
Does it really, though?
I mean,
Sal is just a consistent deck.
It's also very consistent, yes, but because you have Heathcliff, you make standby feel that much less powerful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But realistically, I don't know, man. From personal experience, Heathcliff has done very little for me. He mostly just accelerates me out of bad game state. And the clear, obvious choice is Spriggan. Honestly speaking, the original prediction I had from the banlist video of between Azusa and Spriggan Knight would have been harder. Because this list is laughable. At least to me, it's laughable. Runners aren't that good. In fact, I would have to say that runners are, quite frankly, a mediocre card. If I were to use the doggo scale today, I would go Asna, niche, Heathcliff, playable minus, honestly, and Spriggan Knight, playable plus, definitely. One of the big reasons to play the fucking set, like, I don't understand, like, this seems to me like a cop-out. This list out of these four seems like a cop-out. Spriggan Knight is the obvious choice. Like, I think you could agree with me that any one of our lists from the ban list video would be better than this.
Probably.
Like, did you even put SAO?
I did. I think I was like the strictest one out of the three of us.
Remind the audience and myself what your list was.
Okay, it was choose one between Spriggan Swordsman Kirito. You see him right there. The Kirito Azusa. And I also chose Ironcrag Kirito and Asuna to be like, y'all need to like make better choices between consistency and finishers.
Holy shit. That would have been murderous towards my deck.
Yeah, like, I mean, to be fair, Japan doesn't care because they've already hopped on Apex for a while.
True.
But my logic was to hit it that way so that even if they decide to like abandon like playing for some reason, they choose to abandon Spriggan Swordsman, they have to now think about like, okay.
Do I want a healing finisher or do I want to mill?
Right. Yeah.
But this. Oh man, I want to send the person that made this list to Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Oh, put him in the Joker's cell.
Ooh.
Put him in the Joker's cell, or the cell next to the Joker. But like I said, this list is the fucking Joker. You kidding me? And then Grisaille. So we have the Flower Stand event, and we have JC. Well, Burn in Hell Flower Stand. JC is the obvious choice. Like, okay, Flower Stand is a good event. Don't get me wrong. However, if you don't get the refund, oh boy, Flower Stand goes from really good to pretty bad, to be honest. Because you paid one to get a card and send the card to exile. Yes, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but at the same time, you just kind of go, man. It goes from okay to broken if it effectively becomes free. Having to pay for it just feels so much worse. Yes, it's still playable if you always had to pay for it, but the fact that it's free makes it so much better. Now, putting Flower Stand on the same choice list as the JC also affects the Flower Stand Bonder, too. Yes, there is a Bonder for the card. And the Bonder, well, that's all it does. So, you can effectively open up so many slots by picking JC over it. And I don't think a lot of people are actually thinking about that when they're picking Flower Stand, because Flower Stand restricts your deck that much more than just JC. And of course, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of JC. I really am not. I think that JC pretty much gives you your cake and lets you eat it too. JC loves to punish on reverse combos, which, man, are my favorite types because they tend to be stronger than on attack combos, though on attack combos are ridiculously powerful nowadays. Like, how should I say this? It would be... It's rather... Like, I think, in my opinion, if you're gonna Unga Bunga, you should get punished for it. JC lets the Unga Bunga player avoid punishment for that. Like, giving your opponent... Like, if you want to Unga Bunga and get that damage rate, not only will your hand be a lot smaller, but you also give your opponent 3 reversal targets. Don't you think that's fair for that damage lead?
Theoretically, yes. And, oh man, wait till I get to talk about JC.
Oh, and, like, I have not been a big fan of JC. Like, I'm glad that both Utaha and the Grisaya one are here. I'm glad that both of them are on here. And, like, I'm glad that a lot of people, that the remaining Psychono players are placing to choose New Story over the JC, because that effectively bans the JC from there. And I'm really hoping that people abandon the JC Grisaya and pick Flower Stand over it, because goodbye, JC. I didn't miss your ass one bit. Signed, somebody who loves their own reverse combos. I really think that how should I say this? If I were to design my own set, on reverse combos would be extremely powerful. On attack combos would be relatively weak. They'd be like draw a card.
Right.
Or top check, add to hand.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you get a plus. Not selective, your opponent knows what it is. Or, it's literally draw a card. You could have drawn a climax.
Mm.
Extremely, extremely weak effects, but hey, you didn't have to work for it. Reversal. Well, you at least had to get the reverse. Anyways, partner, I'll pass this one off to you.
Sure thing. I'm gonna save Psychono and Grisaya as I'm gonna talk about them last, because I have grievances with this thing called JC. Okay, get alive. Alright, let's be honest. I don't think letting a title have 2 tri-modal cards in a nutshell is particularly fair, period.
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay, as much as Gavin and I seeing the dog on my Yoshiro being overwhelming from personal testing, it's still a card that does so much for so little.
Why is it free?
Why is it free? Yeah, it's free. Also, again, we look at Kurumi. Why is this also practically free?
Okay, you know how you fix both of them? Add real costs to both of them.
Right,
Boom. Fixed immediately.
Right. Uniform Lotoka. I'm not that surprised by this simply because, as Gavin said, a lot of Japanese day life decks are hinging on standby attack, and Toka really turns standby into even more of an oppressive defensive. You will not do that much damage to me because I have Scry.
I mean...
It's defensive Scry, which is pretty... It gets done quickly.
Just play bounces, man.
Just play bounces. Oh yes, everyone has access to Alice's Vision exploding Kirito and Alice, am I right? Not exploding. It's Austin on the card? Okay, never... Fuck... Okay.
Okay, actually, so I forgot to say this, but Yumiko from Grisaya and Kurumi are rather similar cards. Why does Yumiko has to pick one of 2 cards for a cost of 1 on attack, versus Kurumi pick one of 3 options for free? And Kurumi is bigger. The only difference is Yumiko is heel to stock versus Kurumi's standard heel. But you don't give a flying fuck.
Right. But yeah, I think if anything with Day Alive, it at least becomes a deck that doesn't get to do that many unfair things. And I think this is overall fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like this is a fair restriction. Like this is actually one of the better restrictions Bushiroad has ever done for a title in recent times. Okay.
Fate, cough, cough.
Fate, cough, cough. Okay, we can talk about Fate a different time, but quickly on Fate, it's just to simply curb people away from the title. I don't think they did a very good job overall, but
No, that update sent Fate directly to the Shadow Realm.
right. Well, minus what let's see what Volume 2 does. I mean, it's pretty much like the Sunshine logic, right? Before Volume 2 was released for Sunshine, Sunshine's like this very heavy beating.
Hey, it didn't get sent straight to the Shadow Realm, man. People still played Sunshine.
Right, but the intention was to do it, right? Like,
True.
like I'm pretty sure that was like the logic for Fate because a new set was coming. Therefore,
Yeah, that is true. You know, people are calling Fate the modern Sunshine.
anyway, that got we're comparison, but okay. All right, Sword Art Online. Okay, Heathcliff and Spriggan Swordsman Kirito. I understand why. Heathcliff is like, as I said earlier, it allows you to have a much better matchup against Standby and kind of make Standby cry, like actually. And Spriggan Swordsman Kirito, excuse me, we're just gonna turn pants into doors? How is this fair? No. Doors on steroids. They're doors that let you hand filter. Excuse me?
And they have soul triggers.
And they have so... Yeah, what? Hello? Oh, and the global farmers is icing on the cake. No.
Why are they...
Like, there's
Why
a
are they
reason why Japan is unironically playing 8 pants Sao.
I mean, also, why are they defending Standby player? Standby player should be the enemy.
Well, I mean, okay, it's kind of like to okay. If you look at the way they hit Gao and Sao, with hitting Toka's like making sure that the standby heavy variants in Gao are not like being super defensively oppressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hitting Heathcliff is to prevent Sao from bullying standby. Period.
Okay.
like it's basically to curb both. Like both are in. It's basically both are in the wrong here. Now, of course, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Okay.
Right.
Austin Runner, I have like almost 0 clue as to why this is here. Period.
It's Kaiden. That can whiff.
That can whiff. Okay, sure. You confirmed a card. If it whiffs, you confirm that it's some climax. Yay. I don't understand.
Double who cares?
I'm confused by that one. Like, at least with Heathcliff and Kirito, I understand the logic behind it too. Because having access to a card that not only like digs your deck a little deeper, but also that just says, hey, you play standby, fuck you. And having a card that turns all your pants triggers into doors on steroids seems pretty bonkers.
Yep.
Okay. I want to talk about Saikano and Grisaya in the same section because I feel they're very comparable. Because Katsuki in Grisaya and Utaha in Saikano are basically the same fucking card, let's be honest here. I'm gonna follow up on Gavin. Honestly speaking, prior to the conception of this type of card that we call JC, the gap between tiers was honestly not that high back then.
Oh, hell no.
These cards changed everything. These were like actual gatekeepers because a lot of lower tier decks hinge on reverse combos to pop off. These 2 cards say no, those don't happen. It's almost like, I don't know about you, Gavin, but I feel like in general, Weiss Schwarz is a game that wasn't meant to encourage floodgating.
Nope, not at all.
So
fact,
like we shouldn't have winter orbs or stasis like cards in this game.
if I wanted to play against Winter or Stasis, why wouldn't I just play Magic instead?
Right, or if you wanted to deal with Royal Decree or Imperial Order, go play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, at least both of those games have removal spell.
Right.
Good removal spells.
Right. Now, anyway, Kazuki and Uta, like, the fact that these just say no to reversal, and, like, sure, of course, like, they have so much benefit for doing so little. Like, you add on to your memory count, you saved a character, you were unpunished for your Unga Bunga, and you cockblock the opponent from actually popping off if it's against someone who actually hinges on reverse combos. Like, remember how we used to complain about Attack on Titan?
Oh yes, Aaron. At least Aaron has to get that reversal to begin with.
Right, and the tides have turned. These tell Aaron, no, I get to do this, you don't.
What?
Exactly, like, this is, like, I don't know about you, Gavin, but I really feel like JC was a mistake of a design. Period. No ifs or buts about it.
JC needs to be sent to the Shadow Realm and stay there.
Right. Like, I would honestly argue, like, okay, depending on if and when Gold Bloom gets, like, its next set, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Gold Bloom becomes so powerful, the Shining Smile Yosuba ends up on that Banghammer.
What? The Yosuba JC?
Well, sure, she goes to Wayward, but the fact that she still denies a reversal, period.
Oh yeah, that card is. But dude, what will we do for attackers at that point, man? We're kind of short on them.
Use Miku or something.
Oh shit.
But yeah, Uta and Kazuki, no, these cards are just. I would just honestly say I would be. You know what? At this point, I would honestly be nice to say like ban these cards. Like these towers have everything else. Just ban these cards. Honestly, at this point, sometimes. I mean, I have to be a little more fair because, you know, I know Busher would never outright ban these types of cards until further notice.
I was about to say, man.
Yeah,
We said the same thing about the costume meme promo, and that got the hammer.
Okay, that was coming a mile away.
What do you mean?
Alright, anyway, now I'm gonna focus a little bit on Saikano. I'm surprised the finish was even here. I was like, I wouldn't call Nusura making me that big of a problem. Is it only because a level 2 can become her? I think that was like a real issue. Because the level 2 puts itself into memory, I guess.
But you can only do it at level 3, so you can't early play her.
Right, it's a little confusing. And, okay, the Izumi, we definitely saw that hit miles away. Okay, it's a runner that runs for free, and it uses itself to memory to deck fix. This is okay, how?
Oh, it's a mill runner, so it can whiff.
Okay, it's a mill runner. Oh no, it can whiff like about like 10% chance. It's like El Boohoo, Crimea River.
You know, it'd be really bullshit if she could run the fucking back row.
That would be very bullshit. aren't we glad Psychologists have a clean cut?
Oh, it does. It does. Just no one plays it.
Okay. Again, Feeding and Grisaya. Yeah, Gavin kind of really touched this on a lot already. It can be pretty bullshit if you end up refunding it and then put it to memory anyway. Like, okay, here's a cantrip that you got for free and you use it to memory. Fair and balanced.
No, it goes to memory regardless.
It goes to memory regardless, but the refund it could not happen. But chances are you're playing Grisaya, you have like over half your deck is probably good.
The meta deck is like 17 or 18 zeros.
Yeah, so you're probably fine.
Yeah, you're probably Gucci.
But yeah, all in all, I'm very glad that the memory decks that happen to also be able to cock block reversals are finally getting the actual punishments they deserved.
Now,
Grisaya was possibly a little early, but I think it only did that just to prevent Grisaya from becoming the indisputable BDIF.
no, a lot of people are saying now that's Kappa.
Right. But I think I think you could make the argument that if you only like restricted Saikano, Gao, and Sao, there's a very good chance that Grisaya's like, if not the best deck, it's one of like the top two.
Oh, well, it was one of the. In fact, these are what Japan considered the four heavenly king.
Right. And Bushiro Japan noticed it.
Oh, of course.
Or at least they acknowledged that moniker.
You know what's hilarious? Japan is doing their World Grand Prix early next year. I think that's why the restriction list is coming in December and not February this time.
Right. They're doing like a new. They're doing like a very weird format because of like everything that's happened.
Right.
Alrighty. So let's see. Final thoughts on the restriction list. Well, basically, we'll say this. If you really want to play Saikano, you could. It'll probably be a very uphill battle, if anything.
Saikano goes from S tier, one of the four heavenly kings, down to like B.
Most likely. Gao, you're still usable. You're fine. You just become less unfair.
You're still a member of the S tier in all likelihood.
Right. Sao. You're fine. You're very fine.
You're still. In fact, you're probably now the best deck in the game. Period.
All right, Grisaya. It's still pretty up there.
Grisaya is still very powerful. In fact, you can probably ditch yellow entirely.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and constantly hashtag unpunished.
By the way, we'll be doing another ban list up. We'll be doing another tier list update eventually.
Eventually.
When the next ban list comes.
Right. We'll of course pending Bushiro announcement of said new list.
Oh, boy.
Alrighty.
And
So, yeah.
of course we'll have some newcomers in there.
Mm-hmm.
I can already ask the question: who are these creatures?
Fun. Alrighty. So I think with that out of the way, so tying it all back to deck building, or preparing your deck after you get your invite. Yeah. Overall, like you just had to make like a few considerations for 3 of these 4 titles. Saikano. Best of luck to you. If you could actually pull it off, I actually will have to give you respect.
Right. But the other 3, oh come on, you gotta slap on the wrist at best.
Okay, I don't know about Gao getting a slap on the wrist. Like it just simply becomes less oppressive. But
just don't be a standby whore.
Yeah. Like it's telling people, play a mid, be less red.
Right.
Be less red and blue. We don't need wall insect deck.
Well, you have to realize Japan is very much a country.
They are very much an insect country.
There is a country. I mean, what happened to being Selesnya, man?
What happened to being Celestia, man? You want to go back to the year 2013 already?
What era of history is that?
I think you called it like either. I think you called that Civil War or even worse.
Civil War is 2015.
Fuck, that would be like the Middle Ages?
Oh God, no! The Middle Ages? Hell no! I have enough trouble playing Civil War decks.
let's not go back another 400 plus years.
Let's just stick to World War I and up, please, and preferably not even World War I, or even World War II, man.
Okay, speaking of mind-fucking Gavin here, let's talk about mental preparation. A player can have all of the powerful cards they need to build a very capable deck, but they also need to have the mental capacity to tackle a higher number of rounds against the most capable players in their country/continent. WGP regional events here in North America do not exceed past 6 Swiss or double elimination rounds. In contrast, the North American WGP Continental Qualifier undergoes through 6 double elimination rounds with a top cut single elimination of the top 16 players for upwards of 10 total rounds should you make it to the grand finals. The higher round count amidst a very formidable player pool necessitates one to muster up a high enough level of mental endurance and willpower to pave a path towards success at this prestigious event.
Alrighty, so this paragraph is basically the previous year's format. So for those of you competing in the digital version, it'll most likely be, I would expect 8 to 10 Swiss rounds versus the 6 Swiss rounds of the past, because
there'll be more players.
I would expect at least a 50% increase of players making it to nationals this time around.
Because of both quick context. It's typically been like a far limit. Like most regions got like 2 invites, a handful get 4, and if you're Hammer Girl Anime, the location of Harder Cards, you get 8.
No, they get 6.
Well, you get 6. Never mind. I take that back. But 6 is still a pretty big number.
Majority of places you're gonna get two. If you're very lucky, like Arizona, you get 4.
But before we bring people back to the grievances with Harder Cards and WGP video here.
Right. Before we have
the new format basically says, oh, you're making a final round, being X1 or better. Here's your invite.
I mean, that's nice, but at the same time, that's kind of ridiculous.
On top of that, because it's online, unless you're in Hawaii and don't feel like getting up at 5 in the morning,
or your home life makes it difficult because, for those of us on the West Coast and that live with other people, the event is really early in the morning and people need to sleep. People are typically still asleep at that hour.
Right, especially on a Saturday.
No, well, Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Remember, this event spans both days. Now, I think this is to make up for the fact that this is the last chance qualifier this time around.
Right.
But at the same time, well. So of course, and what's unique about the digital version compared to the physical version is the regional qualifiers were double elimination versus just the top number of X players will make it in. So I think that Luke is actually, here's speculation, but I think Luke might actually switch to this format following the next in-person version as well.
It's possible, but time will tell.
Right, of course, I'm just speculating. So oh, by the way, this is not your local Bushiroad Championship Series where you expect the person to go in, get the promos, and drop.
Oh no!
Oh,
far from it.
Oh Lord, no! If you're going in expecting that experience, I would recommend you save your money and stay home. We are here to win. We're not here to meme. In fact, I usually tell majority of players that are even thinking about going to nationals. Do you want to win, or do you want to meme? Those are pretty much your only 2 options. And if your answer is want to meme, I would highly suggest you stay home and tell Luke you're not coming. And he'll give your seat to last chance because, to be honest with you, if you're going there to meme, then you're I don't want to tell you how to play, but at the same time, it would be unless you're absurdly rich and can afford to take both time off and spend the money to fly to Rochester to do effectively nothing and participate in free fight, you're not going to get very far by memeing. You're probably not going to get very far. you're probably going to eat that 0-2 loss and sit in a corner. Sit in a corner and play free fight. Now, for those of you that want to win, I think this podcast is more focused towards that. So if you want to win, be prepared to face literally anybody and everybody in that room, including the sweat. So just last year, I faced the leader of the Ileana gang, the leader and founder of the Ileana gang, Jun, one of the founding members of the Ileana gang, and Thomas the differential engine, all in a row. And I was sick at the time, coughing my lungs out, trying my best to duel.
Mm-hmm. I think if Gavin here didn't really have like the mental capacity he demonstrated, he probably wouldn't have gone too far.
I would have been eliminated by Jun.
Right.
Easily. Like, holy shit. Holy shit, you could be prepared to be facing the sweat very early.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, probably some people might start typing in the comments, ew, why did you go risking infecting people?
This was last year.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, people expect that sick people wouldn't try to show up at an event, period.
Well, the reason why I did is because number one, I did the unironic sponsorship. Soul Sleeper, I was with Soul Sleeper at the time, and if I didn't go, both of our tickets would be flushed down the drain. And so would the hotel fee. I would have lost $2,000 and gotten nothing out of it. So, at the time, I was like, I'm fine, by the time we got to the airport, I was like, I'm fine. I should be able to make it. Nope, my condition worsened by the following day. By the way, I even went through last chance qualifier in slightly better condition, but not by much.
Right, okay. Quick off note. You pretty much had to make like your decision, as we said earlier. You gotta make your decision to go ASAP. While Gavin did not necessarily get an invite last year to a regular regional, because Soul Sweeper here did. He said, "Yeah, you know what? I'll come along with you because I'm sponsoring you and everything, right?"
Right.
But you make this decision before even coming down with whatever the hell you came down with.
Correct. I made that decision on September 30th of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the exact date too. September 30th. I got sick like 2 or 3 days before the event happened.
Right, but you're like, you can't just simply, you didn't, as you said, you didn't want your tickets to be flushed down the toilet.
Right. I mean, I think you would make a very similar decision from my standpoint.
If anything, I would at least go, but whether or not I play at the event's a different story, if anything.
I mean, you're there, dude. You might as well at least participate.
If anything, maybe I just have to do my best to, like, wear a mask or something.
At least get through last chance, dude. At least get through last chance.
Right. Like, if anything, make sure I do my best to prevent myself from getting others sick. Because, okay, people here already know that, I go to conventions and stuff. There's this meme called Kong Flu or Kong SARS or Kong AIDS. Because for some reason, at an event like that, someone is negligent enough to come to the game, either like they already were going there while sick, or they got sick because of neglecting their health by eating a bunch of junk and drinking themselves nasty, and then they start passing to like everyone they encounter throughout the convention. And
right.
A big tournament could be a tournament like Nationals/Continentals could be a similar deal.
Right. So,
like, I don't know about you, Gavin, but you might have felt that maybe some people in the community are not necessarily the best when it comes to maintaining proper health and hygiene.
No? Come on, man. Is no the correct answer?
Right. So because of that, you just gotta watch out here. But anyway, back to mental preparation. Yeah. everyone you will go through will has probably played the game for so long, or at least have played the game uh, to a high enough extent that they become like almost masters of like their own decks, masters of the game. They like you have to do what you can to not like as a player competing at this event. You have to not only learn how to master your deck and not only master your matchups against the other player, but also know how to master the player themselves.
Right. Learning how to read players is very important.
Or at least trying to psychologically affect them to start making suboptimal plays.
Or have them give you tells.
Right.
It's fairly... How should I say this? Majority of people probably think I'm not the best player. I'm really not, but at the same time, I can read them like they're like an open book. I can read majority of Weiss players like an open book.
Mm-hmm.
It's the body language, it's the tells. It's body language, it's tells, a lot of... In fact, I'm usually the happy-go-lucky guy who goes in very aggressively. I mean... Also, wearing the appropriate clothing, could... Also feeling comfortable, too. You have to feel comfortable.
Right.
There's a reason why I wear the trademark suit.
Right. I think when I went my first, I think I saw people like unironically like will bring something like a plush skull or a nestle berry or something like that.
Oh
because
yeah.
Because you know what? If it makes you comfortable, all the better. Again,
comfortability
and confidence go a long way.
Right.
And that includes you have to bring like some kind of items that help keep you comfortable.
Right.
Like
and also,
no one forbids you as long as it's not some kind of illicit substance.
Right.
Like heaven forbid you need LSD to be comfortable.
But hell, but also top cut. Top cut. By the time you hit top cut, come on, you're expected.
You've been through 6 grueling rounds against some of the best players in your area, like your country or continent, and like some of these people you're probably meeting for the first time, or maybe you've heard about them through other like your favorite content creator or something, and here you are, you got 4 more rounds to go to earn your world invite.
This is it.
And on top of that, single elimination. Doesn't matter if you went XO in those double elimination rounds.
You could just be done in the Super 16. You could be done.
Right, like the pressure exponentially mounts.
Of course. And there's elimination of time limits in the semifinals and finals. So, oh boy, you can't just stall on the clock anymore. You can't use clock stalling tactics anymore. Mm-hmm. You actually have to prove your valor in at least the final 2 duels.
Right.
But again, having made it and being eliminated in that first match of Top Cut, oh holy shit! It's a challenge, man. Like, these players are not joking around. Like, let's just say the first 6 rounds you could have fluked your way through it, but by the time you'll probably meet a lot of the Super 16 throughout your journey, throughout the first 6 battles.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll probably know quite a bit of them. Like, if you were to look at the names on the Super 16 list and look at the names of people that you face, at least 1 or 2 of them should be in the Super 16 in all likelihood.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you need to focus, calm down, pound some stimulants if you have to, some G Fuel, some ginseng, some caffeine.
Right, and hey, no one says you have to remain inside the shop if you're already done with your game, and you have to take a breath of fresh air.
Take a breath of fresh air. Use the bathroom. highly recommend you go to the Goodwill to use the bathroom there. Highly recommend it because Hammer Grill does have a bathroom, but they aren't going to let most people use it. Good luck with that. Go to Goodwill. Go to the Subway.
Right, or hey, but you have to like pack some snacks or something to munch on in between rounds.
Oh, and pro tip, if you make it to the Super 16, please get something to eat. Either go yourself or send one of your friends to go get you a sandwich from Subway. It's not the best food on the planet, but it'll sustain you at least for the next 4 rounds if you make it that far.
Right, it'll be a long day and night.
It'll be a very long day
because,
and night.
Okay, let's go through with some more context. Okay, the tournament it's expected to start at around 10 a.m. local time. This is correct.
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
By the time you reach finals, it's probably past midnight.
No. By the time you reach, the tournament's over by like 9.
Oh, okay.
So the award ceremony and everything will push you past to like 10 or 11. Good luck finding anything to eat at that point, because majority of restaurants in Rochester are not open that late.
No, they very much believe in trying to have everyone resting up pretty early.
It's not as bad as, say, Billings, Montana, or Kalispell, Montana.
The fact that you know about Montana scares me.
Soul Sleeper.
Okay.
What?
I was like, damn, I didn't know you traveled to Montana.
Why does it scare you that I know cities in Montana?
I guess it really sounds like a state you would travel to.
No, it's not. Definitely not. It's the middle of fucking nowhere. The middle of nowhere. But you're lucky you're not traveling to a city like Billings or Kalispell. Mm-hmm. Because those restaurants closed up 2 hours ago. 2 hours before the finals even started. So, good luck finding a bite to eat there. Pretty much, if you happen to win that tournament, you're pretty much going to a 24-hour place like the Denny's. That's relatively near Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I know Rochester's area somewhat, I've been there a few times. I've been there more than.
Yeah, you've been there more than once, definitely.
But this ain't the city of Las Vegas 24/7. Though
no, definitely not.
Even the city of Las Vegas isn't open 24/7 anymore. Outside of the casino areas, okay, man. Let me ask you this question: can you think how many 24-hour places do you know in Oakland?
24-hour places in Oakland that are not simply like a Denny's or something like that.
That you can grab a bite to eat. Let's just say, for example,
I'm hungry at 4:20 a.m.
You're hungry at 4:20. You're hungry. Well, let's just say, for example, the tournament is held in Oakland this year.
Okay.
Or next year, and you happen to win.
All right.
You happen to win the tournament. You're like, I'm fucking starving, boys.
Right. Now, 24-hour places, there aren't that many. Luckily, there are a bunch of restaurants that are open until 2 or 3 a.m.
Oh, okay. So we could realistically grab a bite to eat, right? And not be like a dying dog on the street.
Right. Now, of course, it just depends on which. Let's assume we're in downtown Oakland, where a good chunk of this stuff is. So yeah, less than half a mile away, you'll find something.
Oh, okay. That's better than Rochester or Billings.
Right. We may not have a lot of 24-hour eateries, but we definitely have eateries that are open until late.
Okay, that's fantastic because.
Hell, there's Izakaya. There's Izakaya place not too far from the Oakland Convention Center.
Oh, okay. That's probably where the tournament would be held, by the way. Probably where the tournament would probably be held. I mean, hell, the proposed West Coast solution to World Grand Prix would be held at a game shop that's right across the street from the South Point Casino. Dark Side Games. So you can literally grab a 7-ounce strip steak and eggs for $5.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go, boys.
But yeah, anyway,
Honestly, not. Anyways,
up to 10 games against some of the most capable players, yeah, you're going to really need to train that mind of yours if you are not used to the idea of playing so many games in a single day.
this also assumes that you're trying to win.
Of course, but that is what this is for, right?
Of course. That's
Of course. I'm going to say one more thing here that we haven't really mentioned. Be open. Be friendly. Don't be tunnel-visioned. These people are like yourself. They're just here to want to play the game of Weiss Schwarz, ultimately have fun, while also trying to win. These people might become one of your best buds down the line. You'll never know.
Yep. Well, when I saw this guy for the first time, I was just like, I don't know, man. It's kind of sus if you ask me.
Oh yeah, I definitely come off as sus.
I think he was thinking the same thing about me too. So
a little bit, but hey, look at where we are now.
yeah.
Because we met in person at Rochester 3 years ago, and then followed up online after that.
And now, boom, we're doing this podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, any last things on mental prep?
I guess it's a mental prep. No, there's no need to feel like super stressed out about it. It's, yes, it's a very, very big event, but there's like, if you simply take a step back and reaffirm what it is that you're trying to do there, and learn to keep an open mind, you will be able to increase your chances of success in more ways than one. Maybe maybe your first event doesn't go too well, but maybe you end up holding yourself to become more motivated for next time.
Yep. Oh boy.
Alright, shall we move on then? Alright.
Yep, next topic.
Okay, practice methods. Okay, you obtained your invite, you built your deck, and you toughened up your mind. Now it is time to avoid getting rusty prior to the event. Knowing that you will be playing against very capable players piloting the most powerful decks at the upcoming National/Continental event, you have to make sure you are truly ready. You want to make sure you know the capabilities of the decks you expect to face at the event, as well as knowing the capabilities of the deck you aim to take with you to the event, and playtesting until you have these down to a T. A major help to this would be to find players who own or can proxy higher tier decks and playtest against them. Take note of what needs improvement as well as what you are doing right, so that you can reflect on both things to avoid and things to repeat. A little quote that I'm borrowing here from Bang Dream: practice like you play like you practice. From Sayo Hikawa.
Wait, isn't Sayo from Rosalia?
She is.
Okay. So practice method. So yeah, you definitely need to practice. However, do not practice on low tier scrubs. They won't help you in a competition like that.
Right. People who we should probably say like people with higher tier decks that actually know how to play these properly.
Right. Don't just practice on scrub. Like little Timmy, who has like 6 months of experience, bought an S tier deck. Not really gonna help you. Unless little Timmy is like a god of this game. Yeah, like a fucking god of this game or something, man. But
so airing red.
Does he even play this fucking game anymore?
As far as I haven't heard about him playing this game for some time now. But so for those who don't know, Aaron Red was this person who not only performed well enough to get an invite to a regional through the JP format, and actually didn't perform. I don't remember his performance at Nationals, but he was also able to get one of the top 3 spots in a English regional that same year, and he started playing Weiss Schwarz that year.
So
it was like 26. I forget 2015, 2016. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But like I said, man.
If anything, for those who know the former blog site 9th Climax, He was in consideration for Rookie of the Year.
Wow. Isn't that place dead now?
I believe so.
Oof.
So
Oh, yeah.
if I ever want to link people to my interview with them, which is far more detailed and more insightful than the one I gave Heart of the Cards, I will have to use like Web Archive or something.
Holy crap. Well, at least, I mean, the invite. Well, my invite interview didn't really give you much insight into my thoughts when I was playing. When I was playing Loveless Fincher at the time. So I was just like, man, I don't fucking know how this deck works. I
Right. So
barely know how to play this game.
if you were ever to be interviewed by Ninth Climax, you would be given quite the number of detailed questions. It's almost like filling out like a college application to Stanford or something.
Yeah, I could probably do it now. Like, it would probably be pretty easy for me now.
I mean, it's probably easy, but it takes time.
Right, but, I couldn't just put memes.
Of course.
But I really would want to, but how should I say this? So back to my original point. You won't get any better by playing again. You want to ideally play against somebody who is like a 50-50.
Here's what I would say. You only improve by losing.
Correct. By winning? Oh, hell no, you don't improve.
I think I'll go with a quote comes from, but something like you learn one lesson in victory, but you learn 1,000 in defeat.
And that's true, because, look, it helps if your playtest partner knows what your deck does. It really does, because they can help point out other lines of play that you may miss.
Right.
Like, it really helps that this guy knows pretty much my decks to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Even the more simple ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Standby Shot Goblin Slayer, anybody?
Oh no.
Hey, man.
Unironically, like running or fielding cards to like put up like chasing in front of Elf Girl level 0 to just mitigate the damage that she's gonna do.
Eat the quad, man.
No, we turn into a 3.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you're just like, no, I don't want to eat the quad.
I was like, I'm in first deck. I would like to bring that down to a 2 or a 3.
Please, not the quad, not the quad.
Not
or
the
hell,
quad.
it could be 5.
It could unironically be 5, and it could unironically stick. But yeah, this is again, you have to find people who know how to respect the deck you are playing.
Yep.
And not just simply like fall for every trick in the book.
Oh, you're not gonna learn anything from that.
No, you'll just be like, cool. I might learn how to possibly repeat something, but not necessarily either.
Right.
Like,
And
okay, you play against someone that's playing their, I don't know, their Spa Ghost deck, Hot Springs Ghost deck. And you're able to take them down 70% of the time, and for the most part you haven't really had to do anything different.
That's not really
Okay,
helping
you then play against another person. They play Grisaya. They Katsuki you up the wazoo. You don't get to go off.
And but by the way, you can't heal.
Oh, you can't kill without paying hefty fine of discard 1.
You 1. Try 3 or 4, man.
You're right.
3 or 4, man.
On top of that, you are dealing with Grisaya's pile of like 9 to 11 cards in memory.
Oh, and how many times have you seen them loop Sachi's cooking and the Sachi combo? Literally. I've seen that deck play. It's just like every goddamn turn after post level 1 is Sachi combo. I'm just going. Does your deck have any other cards?
Question mark. Yes, but that shh. Now's not the time for other cards. That comes later.
Literally just spam Sachi combo until you die. Oh, healing? What is this healing you speak of, man?
No, any damage you're doing is gonna stick. This game has an actual clock.
This game has an actual clock. Oh, well, shit. Yeah, that's pretty painful. It's pretty painful. I've seen Grisaya go off. It's scary. It looks like a pile of cards that doesn't do anything. Yes, on paper it doesn't look like they do anything, but when you actually see the deck play, yeah, it's pretty fucking scary. I can't believe I underestimated.
Sure, it might be like pretty linear, but sometimes simple is best.
It's, dude, it's literally the definition of Neil Smart.
Like you get Psycholo is pretty fancy in what it does. No, here's Grisaya.
Grisaya is literally just smart, man. Smart the deck.
Like no, make me 우차가 나게 안 가지고 here.
Oh hell no. But yeah, again, you're like, for example, even post-ban Triad Premix wouldn't even be all that great of a deck to play against consistently. I'm just going. So what does Triad Primus do? Nothing.
Oh, you have a book of English that cannot run away from my combo. Okay.
Oh.
Or you have almost no real answers to my early play that he was to stock.
Okay. Literally, so what does your deck do? Nothing. Literally. What's your level 1 combo? What's a level 1 combo?
It's sort of fake.
I mean, dude,
my real climax combo is Brainstorm 5.
Yeah, pretty much. A real combo is Brainstorm 5. Wait, you can just do that from level 0. Yeah, pretty much. What level combo? I usually tell people.
The real climax combo is discard.
It's now, literally. It's now.
No, let's go.
And does Karen do anything? She looks pretty.
She just says my board is a little extra thick. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Wait, what's that bottom sentence? Ignore it. Doesn't do anything.
Ignore it. You're probably just simply front a character every turn. You're fine.
Pretty much.
Just outrace me. You'll probably win the other 2 lanes. You're playing against better Levi squad.
What did your center column do? Nothing.
You don't get to interact with her, but she's just waiting for 2 to 3 every turn.
Oh, okay. Does she do anything else?
She heals on play. Anyway, moving on. And her early play is like a very, very brain dead condition.
It's 2 or less, man. It's the gold standard. But yeah, your deck doesn't do anything. Or hell, even a deck like Shingeki wouldn't be all that great of a testing partner.
No, especially your standby. You just kind of crap all over them.
Like, well, Kappa would make a good testing partner.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Kipo, as people are calling it now, or whatever you kids are calling it now.
The Kappa Pride.
The Kappa Pride of whatever, Kappa, whatever.
Hell, even like, or Gotobu.
Yeah, Gotobu actually makes a good testing partner. People love to shit over Gotobu.
Rage 0?
People are saying ReZero is showing Rage. I'm like, what? Are you playing it with green? If you're not playing green, then yeah, sure. But if you are playing green, what?
Well, you get to do some pretty insane things at level 2.
Okay, I tell people. So imagine staring down the Furball, Rem, and Felt with the support.
And the sad part is they get this for a neck worth of 4 stock.
Oh yeah, there's 3 of them. What? What?
Well, sure, they put in 5, but they effectively paid 4.
Yeah. Not to mention that Felt goes stock neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So did the Furball. So the only thing that doesn't go stock neutral is Rem.
Right, but but we all know you let Rem go out of control, and Razor just almost always auto wins.
Pretty much. No. Hell, Konosuba would make an excellent test.
Yeah, you learn how to respect if they do it. Well, actually, either level 1 combo you have to respect because they're both on reverse.
What?
Oh, okay,
So,
not necessarily the Megumin combo, but you actually respect what she does if people are playing her.
what? She's glorified Aaron, man.
Yeah, you start to respect that. If you,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, especially if you're a non-reverse player.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just goes,
And for the few people that do it, if they run cold, respect that.
oh yes. And I
Like,
suspect Code will get more and more popular.
yeah, the couple is a popular deck. It tries to get a bunch of cards in the memory. Grisaio?
Slaughter the Psychono Remnants.
Yeah, the occasion, like, whoever, again, you are able to do it, I respect you. And hey, Slime, actually.
Yeah, I was about to
don't,
say.
like,
Oh,
Slime would be a pretty decent testing partner in general, you would think.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Slime is very vanilla.
But it gives even top tier decks a bit of trouble just because Shizu early plays, that's what you gonna do.
Oh, where's my Yoshino?
Where's my Yoshino? That feeling like probably fewer than 1% of DIY players actually play Yoshino.
I suspect Yoshino will see an increase in play after
I
after
hope so.
after after December 1st.
I hope so.
Yeah, Yoshino could fucking answer
I would,
Shizu.
I would like to be able to respect DIY players a bit more.
I don't know, man. Data Live is not very. It doesn't command much respect. But realistically speaking, let me see here. Would you say Bong Meme's a good testing partner?
Pop-in party centric, or can I argue warehouse builds at this point?
No. What's a warehouse build, man? Nobody plays that shit anymore.
Yeah, pop-in party centric it is.
I was about to say the warehouse builds got sent to exile after God.
Yeah, volume 2 basically said, what is support for warehouse-based decks? It's not really there.
No. Oh come on, man! You know, I mean, dude, not even Roselia-centric decks play Yukina anymore.
Well, it's more like they were able to get better combos.
I don't know, man. Yukina's still very deadly.
Yeah, but I think more people are on, like, the Lisa train.
Are they still trying to build their own Marikas?
I wouldn't say building a Mariko, more as just the deck is telling you to play Apex one way or another.
Yeah, that's true, but I think I'd rather play Yukina at that point.
Anyway, but yeah, there's quite a few, like, you know, on top of that, again, make sure the people you're practicing with are not just simply, like, very hyper linear in how they play. Make sure they actually, like, know how to play situationally.
Right. Make sure they know how. Make sure, like, it really helps. The gauntlet style players really help in this practice method.
Right, like you play your one deck against like people's 4 to upwards of 8 decks. If they have too many, it's probably a sign of maybe you don't really know those decks too well.
It's a sign of bloat.
Right. Again, go back to what we said earlier in deck choice.
Don't bloat too much, but still have them on a rotational basis. And I think, I think having that rotation is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, pretty much if you want a good deck to practice against, check out the ban list video. Go over A and S tier decks.
Mm-hmm. And you know, they're using a quote here, like treat these practice games as if you are playing in a tournament. You know, do things like turn the timer on. And have someone ref to give the appropriate warnings.
Right. And actually obey those warnings.
Right.
Oh, okay. 30 minutes has passed. We both lose here. Oh, crap.
Like, you're at 2-5, your opponent's at 3-1. I'm sorry.
Both of you are dead. Both of you are.
Right. Like that's why we're saying practice like you play like you practice.
Yep. Alrighty. Any other closing thoughts about practice methods?
No, just pretty much find people that you know that you can trust to make for competent opponents that can replicate what you are gonna see to some extent over at the big event, and go from there.
Alright. Pretty much my closing thoughts are bring your A game all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, next.
Sure thing. Player-based research. Knowing matchups against deck is only part of the battle. Knowing how individuals approach the game is another. Getting a better idea of how invitees play the game and approach specific decks can give you a better insight on how to play against not only specific deck matchups, but also against specific player matchups should you ever get paired with them at the main event. Luckily, for you watching, there are plenty of resources to help with this. Heart of the Cards, the people who hold this event, provides player interviews from invitees in the North American World Grand Prix circuit. Deck profile and gameplay videos, probably on YouTube, featuring invitees are another source of useful information.
Alrighty. So remember when Kid and Co. used to go ahead and do their quote unquote research on the player base?
The Refresh Point series.
The Refresh Point series, when they went over like a couple years ago when they decided to go over each winning player's deck lists
Yeah.
and try to get a specific idea.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason why I put quote unquote is because, well, honestly speaking, they skipped several decks. They skipped several players.
Because they're like, this person clearly sacked, or this is a meme of a dead. We're not gonna expect to see someone like this actually perform well.
At Nationals, right. But again, never count those players out.
Mm-hmm. Just because they won their invite with Milky Holmes Phantom Thieves does not mean they are terrible players.
I mean, look at Jun. All I need to say is the name Jun.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, most people would say Jun's an exception, not the rule. But I'm just like, but Jun proves my point inherently. I would legitimately pose the question: Railgun. Would you consider that a high tier deck? They're like, hell no. Okay then. Then Jun is an example of never underestimate the player,
Mm-hmm.
just because they choose to play certain decks. And like I said earlier, just because they chose to play X deck for regional does not necessarily mean they will play it for nationals.
Right. Like, if anything, their interview might be able to tell you like how they approach playing the game in general. Like, sure, they might have taken again Milky Holmes Phantom Thieves and got their invite, but maybe what they said in their interview could give you insight on how they approach playing any given deck, period.
And you don't know what they faced. That's a big thing. You don't know what they faced. They could have teched specifically against their local meta.
Right.
Like, going back to Milky Holmes Phantom Thieves, it could have been the perfect example. Or Simple Gear Alchemists.
Mm-hmm.
They could have taken some like Simple Gear Alchemists, which, again, Alchemists a meme, according to most players.
Right, but
No.
it's kind of like the precursor to like Saikongo and Grisaio. It tries to do like this hyper memory compression based strategy.
Or hell, Batman Ninja. A deck like Batman Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, again, a lot of competitive players will be like scoff at Batman Ninja. Yet, Batman Ninja can perform. Like maybe their locals is hyper reliant on reversals. You know, the JC and Batman Ninja really helps
Mm-hmm.
against those particular matchups and denying them those resources that they need
Mm-hmm.
in order to continue to play the game.
Right.
So, again, don't scoff when doing your research. Don't scoff at them. Look at their deck, especially if you're doing it on camera or in a podcast.
Right, like they might say things that can be very, very valuable information.
Right.
Like they might tell you like how they try to deny against a very specific title.
Or a very specific archetype.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, I play this because I fear because I want to make standby suffer or something.
I was about to bring up Soul Sleeper's deck back in 2018. 2 years ago, he won with that deck. And Kit and Co. skipped over him because, well, they're like, that deck's a meme, it doesn't do anything. It rushes you. It doesn't care what you do, it simply rushes you. No, you will not have all the resources on the planet because his level 1 combo is a bounce, an on-reverse bounce. And you're like, well, a standby deck can get over it. Can you protect 3 lanes from a 12k? That's going to be absurdly difficult. At 1, like, again, I can't think of a single deck in the game that can deny that bounce at 1.
No.
Can you?
Not in particular.
Like, can you protect 3 lanes from it?
Definitely not.
Like, at 1 specifically? That's next to impossible. That's,
right.
Yeah.
You would need to build very specifically to even have a chance.
Or you would need to JC in response.
But then it's kind of like you're playing standby. JC is counteractive to that strategy.
Right, and standby decks would not pack JC, period.
It just doesn't make sense because you need the board to make your guys big.
Right, so pretty much.
JC yeets away 2 of them. You minus 2k to your guy that gets 1k for every other character.
And if he realizes you have JC on the board, he can split up and make 2 10ks have on reverse bounce. So even like that's going to be much harder to protect. Like that, he is going to get that bounce either way. Like again, and the majority of players are allergic to hard casting 2/2s.
Mm-hmm.
So that 2/2 is pretty much a dead card in your hand now. Like, are you going to hard cast it? Honestly speaking.
Outside of very, very specific situations, no.
No, that's a dead card in your hand, isn't it?
Far more often than not, yes.
You're probably going to clock it.
Or use it as discard fodder for an ability.
Right. You're probably going to use it to resurrect the 1/1 he also killed. But, you know, in a situation, I mean, that standby was really popular 2 years ago. Was literally the thing 2 years ago. Standby 2018 was literally the wave of standby for the US.
Mm-hmm.
So he built that deck in response to, so how can I beat standby while being on a budget? This can beat it. Or put a deck like Guardian against that thing. Are you kidding me? That Guardian is so disadvantaged against that. It's not even funny. Now you might be thinking here, how does Guardian not have the advantage? Guardian has 0 mil. This deck pushes you, and pushes you, and pushes you. In all likelihood, in 75% of my games, as Guardian against that deck, I didn't exit first deck before I died.
Holy shit.
That is how hard that deck pushes you. I died on turn 4. Very often. Like...
That is very scary.
That's very scary. You dying on turn 4. Like, 4 turn cycles later, like, you sit down, you shuffle your deck, you're dead. Like,
how many minutes left in the round? Oh, you got 22.
No, I'd say like 18 to 20.
Okay.
Imagine losing to that. 10 minutes later, imagine sitting down and shuffling at a big event. 10 minutes later, you're dead. You sign the match sheet that you lost. Like, How ridiculous does that sound to you?
Well, it's pretty ridiculous, but you know what? This is the game of Weiss Schwarz where many things can happen, and this is one of them.
Imagine doing that consistently.
Yeah,
Imagine
that's pretty scary if it pops off like that.
like now, of course, all the competitive players will balk and say, "You'll never see that in a tournament." That is the type of logic that makes that deck deadly. That is the type of logic
Because
that
you
makes it
choose
deadly.
to ignore and therefore not respect it, you get punished.
You got slaughtered by it. You get slaughtered by
Like if
it.
anything, you got out researched.
Like
This
that's
person
the,
knows what you're trying to do, but you don't know what they're trying to do.
and that's the importance of doing your research and knowing what the player base will do. Keep in mind, yes, this type of player is the 1%, and will often not win the tournament. However, that 1% could have eliminated you. GS Yellow, another good example. If you were to poll 100 Goblin Slayer players, their opinion on the set's finishing power, what do you expect the typical response to be?
Shrug?
On a scale of 1, meaning the set has basically no finishing power, to 10, best finisher in the game. What would you expect the typical response card to be? Out of 100 Weiss Schwarz players.
And it's just like Goblin Slayer Yellow, right?
No, Goblin Slayer in general.
Oh, finishing power and Goblin Slayer. They'll probably say something like, at best, a 2 to 3, I would think.
I would expect a 3 to 4. Now, what would you think my card would say?
You would definitely say 10, wouldn't you?
No, I put 9 to 10.
9 to 10, okay.
Like, because I know the power of Dwarf Shotgun. Dwarf Shotgun puts your ass down. Oh, you're like 2-3, 2-4? I'm 3-5? I have the shot in hand? Alright, boys, here we go. It's Chopper Gunner time. Oh, I just refreshed? Oh, yeah, hell yeah, it's Chopper Gunner time. You're dead. You're in striking distance. Count stock count. Oh, yeah, it's definitely Chopper Gunner time. And then they can't believe when they're dead. They're like, I was 2-4. How am I dead? You failed to respect Dwarf Shotgun. Well, shit. They're like, that's a meme, man. Whatever, you got it. And I'd be like, you know, they're like, Japan doesn't play it, therefore it has to be a meme. Japan would never touch Dwarf Shotgun.
Outside of the 1 out of 1,000 players.
I wouldn't even say 1 out of 1,000, man. You have to remember, the Japanese culture is rather homogenous, actually. It's rather homogenous. They're homogenous.
But hey, you do find some spice from time to time.
Yes, you'll find some originality, but them touching something like Dwarf Shotgun, I would expect them to touch Priestess before that.
Damn.
And they hate Priestess.
Because LOL blink cards are a thing.
Yeah, well, again, there's a reason why I abandoned Priestess and went yellow instead. But regardless, so another thing. There is an opportunity for you to keep your list secret. So there's a little known secret. You can actually check a box to keep your deck list private.
And there are people who unironically do this, because they really don't want
Yeah.
people to know.
Yes, correct. They will list the set that you played. That's it.
And
The set that you
they'll
played
be
in your
like,
name.
and then if you don't really say it in your interview, it's anyone's guess as to what you really did.
Now, I'm kind of glad that Hatsi didn't do interviews. Like for all the X and ones to do interviews.
Oh,
'Cause
that would get crowded quickly.
That would have been a massive headache for them. But I would have chosen to keep my list private. Even though I have no problems with sharing my list, it's more of I just didn't feel like doing the interview at the time. I was fucking hungry. I wanted to go eat. I would have declined to do the interview, period. If that meant revoking my invite, sure. Like, I'm going to be honest with the audience here. I have no intentions of playing this year. And I will reveal my reasoning for that in a later section. But, like, my point here is that, look, maniacs exist. Don't ignore them. Otherwise, you risk losing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those that know what your deck does.
Right.
Knowledge.
Don't become the out-researched.
Like, if you become out-researched, you have no one to blame but yourself on that one. Like,
you had the time.
You have the time. You just chose not to use it effectively. Like, I would argue that Weiss Schwarz players have a lot of time on. Like, the majority of them claim to be working professionals, but, well, I don't really. How should I say this? I've been in the working world, and honestly, I do not see them working 50 plus hours at a salary exempt job. I don't see the majority of them working those kinds of hours. Especially the salary exempt. But I don't think salary exempt is a thing outside of the US. You know what I mean by salary exempt, don't you?
Roughly. It's not a term I hear thrown around too much.
Okay, imagine this. A corporation pays you X amount of dollars. And that's it.
Oh, you're talking about like a yearly salary thing.
Yes, a yearly salary. So imagine you work 60 hours a week. You can claim 0 overtime. You don't get paid for those overtime hours.
Right. You just simply, because you sign a contract saying you will be paid X dollars a year.
Yep. So, yeah. Why do you think I left? Because I'm an accountant and I have an accounting background. Why do you think pretty much every single major accounting job is salary exempt? And why do you think I've told people I refuse to go back to the accounting world because of it? I will work for less money. I'll take a lesser paying job because of it. Because salary exempt is bullshit. It really is.
It's a double-edged sword, if anything. Like sometimes it could benefit the employee, but oftentimes it doesn't.
It rarely ever does. It mostly benefits the corporation.
Right.
But again, they get those young, naive kids that get suckered into it, and yeah, why do you think that accountants are not exactly the happiest of people? But anyways, excluding my professional life, my former professional life, I'm just going, look, don't do what Burn 1 did. Don't do what Burn 1 did. Look at everybody's list and consider it. Consider it for a second there. Don't be like that one guy from Foreign who only presents Japanese lists. That's it. He doesn't even pay any attention to the US. Period. Pretty much don't be a sheepy. Wake up. Wake up, smell the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good players here.
Yeah, again, you might find some diamonds in your rough from time to time. And you only just chose to look harder.
There's a reason why we do the full booster pack review versus the abridged version like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually, I think we're getting a lot more traction. I think we're gonna get a lot more traction because of it, honestly. And it's a great way to stretch content out.
If anything, I think people, if there's any complaints about what we do, is that our videos are long.
Are long? Well, that's why we have timestamps for everything, man.
Well, timestamps for a scrimmage series, of course. I don't know about timestamps for Yes.
Remember the banlist video, man?
Okay, that was a giving, right?
That's what to say. Holy shit!
I'm actually
But
watching
anyway,
that undivided.
I have,
You have.
and hell, it makes excellent background noise when actually doing practice.
I feel it.
I've used it actually as background noise.
But anyway, going back to player-based research. Final thoughts.
Uh,
Just ignore
uh,
no one. People earn these invites. Yes, maybe chance favored them somewhere, but you don't necessarily know that.
I was about to say, man, never assume a goddamn thing. Is all I have to say.
Like, ultimately, these invites are earned, not given.
Uh,
Let's not bring any like weird things about regionals that have high invite count compared to low attendee count.
I was about to say, man, you know exactly.
We have no reason to bring that up.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
great.
stop you right there.
Alrighty.
Let's
Next.
talk up. Yeah, so let's kind of start trying to like really try to talk together with collaboration. An individual like you or me can do only so many things by ourselves. That's why it might help to find a group of like-minded, competitively oriented individuals to work together to figure out the best builds and the best lines of play. You might know of some particularly capable players in your own local community. You may also be able to seek out help from the online community if you feel people in your own local area hold you back as a competitive player, or to supplement the help you are getting from members in your local community.
Boy, do I sense some personal bias from you in that second statement there about a certain person?
I never meant to say anything of that sort with that second statement.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, the third statement. Excuse me, the third sentence.
I'm not implying anything there whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
Goo
Okay.
goo 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 goo. No, I try my best to be objective here, Gavin.
Okay. Because I don't know.
I am not here to attempt to shit talk people in my own local community in any way.
I would hope not, man. I would hope not.
I acknowledge the capabilities of the players in my local area. They're definitely not just simple pushovers, that's for sure.
Okay, I was about to say, man. Well, again, it's not like Arizona's much of a pushover either. Or pretty much majority of players that play in these competitions, I would expect to not be pushovers.
Right, like if they're purposely taking their time off to play, especially for the online thing or for the online one of all things, because like you have to make sure you get your webcam ready and you gotta like change how you're doing on your desk normally to facilitate playing Weiss Schwarz, which I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a majority of people who entered do not normally cannot just like normally regularly set up for a game over webcam that easily.
No?
They probably have like a bunch of like maybe like some figures, or they have some figures on the desk, or they have assorted paper lying around from work, or all this miscellaneous objects on their workspace.
Right. Or hell, or even people with sus webcam setups.
Yeah, like some people would be like, how I can make sure that I can get my laptop to show my board, but also for myself to see what my opponent's doing.
Right.
Am I gonna go grab that monitor from downstairs in the basement? Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Right. And and the thing is that okay, seeking help from the online community. I don't know, man. You need a pretty iron stomach in order to do that because people tend to be keyboard warriors nowadays.
Right, but it's better to try it if anything than to ignore it as there. Period.
That
And
is true.
I will say one thing, Gavin. if you are looking to have the highest chance of success at a big event like the national or continental event for the WGP, I assume you've already accepted to learn how to be humble and
Oh, of
to
course.
be more open about what other people tell you.
Oh, of course. But to be immediately attacked, for you to post your list and immediately, or to post your opinion and immediately be shit stuff, well, that could hurt a guy's feeling.
Right, but that's kind of the hard part with some people. And this is I'm gonna add something here really quick. It's slightly off topic, but this is where some people draw the line between why they don't want to be competitive because they feel it's ultimately gonna hurt their emotional and entertainment factor of the game.
Right. And the thing is that, well, people in your locales. I don't know, man. I don't know. Some people locales are pretty sus.
Again, your mileage may vary, but if you really feel like people at your own locals, you just feel like they just simply can't really help you grow, then that's where you have to be yeah, you know what, baby birds gotta fly outside of the mother nest.
I mean, I flew out of the coop years ago. They helped me get to this point, but oh please, I flew out of the coop years ago.
But sometimes you just gotta admit, sometimes you just have to admit the people around you may not they may be supportive of you, but they may not be able to truly give you that push you need.
Well, I mean, people weren't really supportive of me after my first time at nationals. I've qualified 3 times now. In fact, I've actually qualified more times than really anybody else in this town.
Well, that says something.
That says something. Though, but regardless, seeking help is definitely a wise thing, especially if you can't fix anything. Especially if you can't figure something out, or for example, the Kappa. Oh my God, I was trying to make Himari and the money counter work, and then we just ultimately came to the conclusion of, bruh, no. Himari and the money counter isn't gonna fit together.
For those who watch the Scrimmage series, you've seen an evolution of what we had to do with that title.
It's just yeah, dude, this is not modern day TLR.
Yeah, we tried. That's the game. We ultimately Gavin and I worked together to go, okay, you know what? This really isn't working.
Now we can pick. It's pretty much its own pick one of two. You can either pick Himari or the money counter.
Yeah, both. It's selling us on paper to have both, but we go, okay, no, this is not like having Darkness plan with Yami.
Well, first off, Darkness Planet. Well, first off, Yami was fucking free. Himari cost stock.
Yeah, Himari costs resources, unfortunately.
And
Himari also needs a full board, so.
Yeah, versus Yami, who does her thing just willy nilly.
Here, I just feel 3 of them. I'm top decking like a bitch. Fuck it.
But and also TLR's level 0s don't eat your stock don't eat stock like fucking hippos.
This is also true. You have to put a very, very big initial investment. She's gonna pop off. You're gonna pay her stock to get her off.
Or say your drop salvage.
Right. Or you got accurate stocker up. That's another stock for you.
Oh man, that eats your stock. That deck is so stock hungry. Just going. So where'd all my stock go?
Okay, you enter level 3. How much stock do you have? 5?
5? Oh, triple Himari's not going off. And the thing is that, I was nice enough to a guy to even let him, so I was facing the Kappa mirror match in Arizona this year, and the guy completely forgot that the guy was majorly behind, and he needed to basically use Himari to help catch up the game.
Right.
It was 3-5 versus my 2-2. I canceled like a god. He ate it like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
we're playing the same set, almost identical decks.
Mm.
And he was all like, "Oh," I was like, "Dude, you probably want to play Himari here. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea." Okay, he summons 3 Himari and a guy in the back row. He forgot to play his 4th guy. I was like, "Dude, place a guy in the back row." Like the guy almost made a terrible mistake, but I let him correct it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to have the sake of a better game. Because I was like, "Oh, dude, you know how bad that would feel." Oh, by the way, I got canceled my way out of it.
Nice.
I was like 3-2 at the end of triple Himari.
Mm.
That's pretty lenient considering Himari's damage output.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's pretty lenient, honestly. I was like, I think you would say I got canceled. But regardless, I just go again. You know, that's the type of person I am. Just like, you know what? Even if I lose here, I lose here. It doesn't matter. It's do or die time for both of us. We're both 0-1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was more than willing to give up my seat. I was more than willing to just, you know, effectively throw the game at that point.
Mm.
But you know what? You know, he's relatively new to the deck too. You know? I mean, but yeah, Dakipo. Oh boy. Yeah, that Himari. Oh, by the way, his stock count wasn't very impressive either.
I would think not.
Himari doesn't require a billion cards in exile, but you kind of want to keep that exile count up. You kind of want to, especially if you're Otome at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or you play the Nino early play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dakipo doesn't really play well without his exile. So
It's kind of not really a deck without it.
you could play the Dalsegno version.
Even though Sagno puts cards in memory.
Not as many as Kappa proper, man.
Still. Okay, it's more like slime memory count.
Yeah, as opposed to like a dozen.
Right.
As opposed to like a dozen. Hey man, his level 1 combo was Phyrexian. This is the Phyrexian combo.
Phyrexia, let's go.
Hey man, that combo was OP because it's Phyrexian.
Oh sure, I'm gonna up on green. And then I'm at 1-0. Okay, clock red. What? Play down yellow character. What? How?
Phyrexian, man.
Also play choice. What?
What?
I don't need to. I have a card memory. I don't need to meet the card requirement.
Oh, what? Wait, you're playing Phyrexian? What is this? Even my next opponent was all like, so I told him, oh yeah, I'm an ex-Magic pad. He's all like, oh yeah, I played enough Magic, so be prepared for the Magic turns. And I even told him, so yeah, my level 1, I told him, he asked me, so where's your yellow during level 1? He's like, I'm Phyrexian. Oh right, I forgot you are Phyrexian.
But anyway, collaboration, you know, this as I said, you know, this is where you as a player and a person have to become more humble, more open.
Right.
Do not automatically assume you know everything there is to know about the game.
Well, what?
Like, there are probably things that you haven't even thought about that someone on the other side of the world has.
True.
And again, you can, you know, there might be something in it for them. You might be able to help them in a way that they couldn't figure out. Like, you'd be surprised what you could do in this community.
Yep. Build that sense of camaraderie. Might even be able to make some friends.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. We ready for this last one?
Yep, we got the last one, boys.
Alright. Non-pandemic preparation. The current global pandemic has restricted opportunities for players to meet in person, whether at a local game shop or at another public facility, so most players are most likely currently stuck convening with other fellow players via online methods. Once lockdowns have been lifted, players can do what they can to take advantage of meeting with other players to get playtesting done at local game shops. Local tournaments near and far can be a good opportunity to test the capabilities of one's deck prior to the big event, as well as being a possible opportunity to meet with like-minded players looking to perform well at the big event themselves.
So, okay, I'm gonna reveal why that. I'm gonna reveal the reason why I'm not gonna play at nationals this year, despite qualifying. Honestly, it doesn't feel the same. It really doesn't. To be honest with you, I can't. I have to be more considerate of people that I live with. People have to sleep. I myself probably won't even be awake at the scheduled time. I will say this on record. It would have been easier and more convenient for me personally to play in Rochester, New York this year. To legitimately play physically in Hammer Girl Anime. Rather than doing it online. I know, that seems like the most backwards logic on the planet, but for those of us that live on the West Coast, especially Hawaii, how the fuck are you going to be up at 4 a.m.? Like, if you can be up at 4 a.m., to play at Nationals, more power to you, man, but holy crap, that's not realistic for the majority of people. Mm-hmm. Waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. just to be at a card game tournament? Like, I don't know, man. The majority of Weiss Schwarz players, from what I've noticed, don't live very healthy lifestyles. Mm-mm. They're usually asleep at like.
If anything, they might be awake upwards to like 5 or even 6 a.m., but they'll probably crash out pretty soon after.
Right. And hell, I went to bed last night at 4 a.m. in the morning. Woke up at around noon. Again, I will most likely miss that time. My body is conditioned for that sleep schedule.
Like, I'm on the fence about it myself simply because, like, even if I wanted to wake up a bit before 7 a.m., which is the time I have to be up to make it to the tournament, I then go, well, what about how much time I'm going to be eating up across the 2 days? Like,
right.
Why didn't I have time to, get other stuff done? Or, like...
Pretty much you have to dedicate your entire weekend to this tournament.
Like, it's a little difficult. Like, I actually take a lot of instincts to... Like, I think, if anything, people who are getting the invite have to take a lot of instincts into consideration. Will they be able to do it without bothering people that they live with? Will they be able to find time to actually make sure that they're eating their 3 square meals a day? Or if something comes up, what can they do about it?
Right. Like, for example, if I were in Rochester proper, sure, I could schedule a wake-up time. If I were in Rochester proper, at least I have made the dedication to be there. I'm already there. I might as well play in the event. It's the same reasoning I gave earlier, the reason why I played when I was sick. Down with the cold. But, at least I'm there. That, like, I can at least schedule a wake-up call. I have a purpose. I have a purpose of being in Rochester, New York. It gives me the drive and the motivation to actually participate. Mm-hmm. Beyond the digital version, I could, like... There's a reason why I'm not very happy with this year's circuit. It feels... How should I say this? A lot of people would tell me, well, it's either this or nothing. And I'd be like, you know what? Give me the nothing. With the reasoning of a global pandemic is going around. Be safe. Take this year off. And I 100% agree with them. Like, take this year off. I'd be more than happy to skip this year. I have my decks. I have people I can play test with. I can be prepared for next year's tournament. Mm-hmm. And hell, even at the regional level, it's fun that I was able to participate in Arizona for effectively nothing. But I told the organizer, I told Mike, dude, I'd rather be physically down there with you guys. He's like, I know. Like, you wouldn't. In fact, the person that won the tournament wouldn't have been there if it was physical. And I would have prepared Soul Sleeper to win our tournament here. You know, things have gone on normally. In fact, we would be coming home from Nationals at this point in time. Nationals would have been either last week or 2 weeks ago. That weekend. If things were normal and and Nationals was happening around the same time frame. I was 100% predicting Luke to say, "Nah, there's nothing. We got nothing here." It would have pissed a lot of players off, but I think it would have been for the better. Like, the remote fight option just makes me go, why would I even bother? Like, I chose to do effectively the competitive version of meme. Yes, I'm going in with a good deck, but I have zero practice with it. I essentially did this year for the regional event going against the advice that we're giving out here. I say this advice while doing that because this year I don't care. I chose to meme. I did not choose to win. I chose to meme instead. And you know what? It just proves that I didn't have much competitive energy this year. I don't have the same competitive energy like I usually do. I've had it for years now. I've had it since 2016. Oh, man, if I can go back in time and tell myself, my 2016 self, that yes, things will get better. You will become a better player. Don't worry about it. Eventually you will. You just need time, energy, and practice. And you'll eventually get better at the game. If I could tell my 2017 self, hey, jackass, you're not that good at this. Keep practicing. Keep learning. Don't go off the high of one tournament. Tell my 2018 self, things will get better. Things are a bit slow, but things will get better. 2019 self, and your competitive energy is going to go down the shitter. And tell my current self, well, there's always next year. Like our local Dark Side Games here in Las Vegas does allow for in-person play. So we could have easily done the in-person variant. I don't know about you, man, but Hot Seat staff didn't ask a single question. Or entered a single room while we played. Like, they didn't bother asking any questions. Pretty much, they didn't interfere unless somebody reported a problem. Right. To be honest, it could have been very easy to mask an in-person event as the digital variant. You could have easily done it. As long as nobody reported it to Hot Seat, like, it would have been basically the same thing. Like, you could have easily reported the winners and eliminated people in person. You could have easily done that.
Right. Of course, it just then becomes the problem of all the people who might be trying to sign up from, like, outside the state.
Okay, yeah, that is a huge problem.
Or you know, even if within the same state, traveling to said region to begin with.
True, traveling to said shop to begin with.
What would you do then? Would you need to actually set up a computer system at the physical shop to have that player who got paired up with the remote player to somehow play?
That would probably be the only solution.
Like,
I can imagine this would be, like, the masking the in-person variant as the digital variant would be a problem at, like the Californian regionals, where, you know, they got a lot of intruders. Hell, even the Arizonan variant. The Arizonan variant would have been a problem. We had 3 intruders, including myself.
Right, like like that's kind of thing. I mean, like again, guess this online circuit's been like it's been a bit of a double-edged sword. There's a lot of people who wouldn't normally actually play, and it also has taken away from like people's like motivation to play. Because again, as I said earlier, not everyone is simply regularly available to just simply set up their workspace and be down for a series of card games for the next X hours of the day.
Like, in theory, it would be more convenient. It would increase the amount of players that are national. But realistically, I would expect at least a third of the people that got their invites to drop out. Like, I would expect a lot of the West Coast to say, nah, dog, I'm out.
Just because they value being able to sleep and actually spend the weekend, doing other things.
Right. Like, for example, I myself, like, let's say, for example, I was living in a different living arrangement. Let's say I could get up at 7 a.m. and I wasn't living with other people. Honestly, even in that situation, I look at my PlayStation 4, I grab my controller, push the PS button, plug in my headset, and just play Cold War all day. I'd rather play Cold War all day than participate in Weiss Schwarz in that tournament.
Or like in my example, like on Saturdays, I actually do anime group watches with friends. Like heck,
Right.
like I'll always to be honest right now. On the day of my regional, last Saturday, they were waiting at least another like hour or two for me to be done, so that we can actually get the group watch. Because I go through 5 rounds. We started at 3 p.m. We didn't end until about 8 p.m.
Jesus.
Like, Gavin knew how bleh I was after that thing.
Pro Slay?
Huh?
I think you spam multiple Bopro Slays.
Yeah, I spam coke, like, because I have nitro, I spam coke roast on the guy. And one of the first things I did after finishing the tournament and confirming my invite, go in my fridge, grab a fucking beer, crack it open.
Oh man, that better have been a good beer.
I don't buy like the mass market brand shit. I don't buy Bud, I don't buy Corona, I don't buy heck I don't even buy Heineken.
What's the Chinese one? The
Tsingtao?
Tsingtao? Yeah, Tsingtao.
I've tried Tsingtao, it's not terrible.
It's too grainy for me.
It's alright. I mean it's at least it's not Budweiser.
I'd rather drink an Asahi. Or give me the hard liqueur. Or give me the hard
actually,
stuff.
I mean, okay, I do have a thing of whiskey here. I want to save it for a special occasion.
Oh, okay. Okay, well.
I don't feel like getting drunk off a hard liquor too soon.
I mean, have you seen me drink Crown?
No, but I could imagine you actually doing that.
Imagine half the bottle and I'm fine.
You are a scary person to drink with.
Yeah, half the bottle I can still play Weiss Schwarz competently.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, I play card games while drunk. I could do perfectly fine.
I can drive.
Now that is the scary part.
I can drive and not be stopped by a single cop. I'm fine.
Okay. I will admit that there was one time where I actually like hung out with Aaron once. We were watching Pop Team Epic. I got drunk up the wazoo. I did stay the night because it would be late. I knew I couldn't drive at that time, but when I woke up, I was still hungover, and I had to get my ass home to make it in time for a family outing.
Right. But anyways, so like I said, it's one of those things that just makes me go, what was the point?
I totally get it. For some people, again, as I said, it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, Gavin here doesn't really feel it's been a very, very good alternative whatsoever. But there are players who actually embrace this idea.
Okay, and for those that love this idea, good for you, man. I'm happy for you. I legitimately am. You know what? For those of you that enjoy this format, I'm really hoping this does not cause a divide in the.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. I really hope. I really hope there's like no like factional drama over this thing.
I really
Like if anything,
like.
we here at Double Car Reviews are not. We're not trying to encourage like one way or the other. Like there's no my way or the highway thing here.
We already have enough factionalism in the card game itself.
Right.
We already
we
have.
already have like a geo factionalism thing going on.
Now, of course, for pandemic preparation tips themselves. Number one, do not, do not. So I'm gonna speak for. So do not choose a legacy carrier for your flight. Do not choose a legacy carrier, especially their economy. Oh boy, you're gonna suffer quite hard because you're gonna get an uncomfortable flight.
I do like how I'm going to interrupt you really quickly here. I do like how you immediately jump to like the logistics part of the trip.
Of course, of course. That's the part I'm most experienced with. Of course, non-pandemic preparation. So do not. So by the way, but for those of you that aren't aviation nerds and have no idea what I mean by legacy carriers, I mean United, Delta, and American. I have no idea about Canadian carriers. Insert legacy Canadian carrier here. No idea about them. South America, same thing. I only know about the US. If you're flying from Hawaii, I think your only option might be Hawaiian Air, but Hawaiian Air is actually not bad, actually. I actually enjoy Hawaiian Air's flights.
Okay, so you're fine with like JetBlue.
Yeah, JetBlue, Alaskan, Southwest.
Hey, Southwest is pretty legit. I do like what they do.
Actually, Southwest is probably the best carrier you want to fly with because honestly, they're the cheapest, and they'll give you the
right. Prices are very good, and hey, up to 2 bags included. What the fuck?
Yep. Oh, by the way, if you're planning on bringing a suitcase, do not pay for it at the fucking gate. They charged me $60. Actually, no, $30 each way. So I paid $120 in baggage fee the first year because I accidentally forgot about it. And I forgot to tell Soul Sleeper. I mean, and then the second year, yes, I did pay for baggage, but the people at United tried to charge me again for it. Oh, and please be careful at which airport you land at. Do not, I repeat, do not book your stop at Washington Dulles Airport. Holy crap! Holy crap! They left. Okay, so little bit of. So here's the story. So Soul Sleeper and I were at Washington Dulles Airport. We had our pit stop from Las Vegas McCarran International to Washington Dulles International, and we stopped there. They were about to. So we were checking our time to make sure we didn't miss our flight, right? 2 minutes before the flight took off was a gate change. They didn't alert approximately 25% of the passengers. 25% of the passengers missed their flight. And it was a connecting flight to Rochester International. I missed the main last chance qualifier. So I would have had to play in last chance 2 years in a row. I played in a modified last chance team. Unfortunately, I didn't qualify through last chance 2 years ago, but again, I was still pissed off that the gross negligence of the employees at Dulles Airport at Washington Dulles. By the way, that's in DC. That's DC. That's one of two main DC airports. My recommended stop. People are gonna probably accost me for this, but
O'Hare International.
O'Hare International. Yep, ORD.
I had a feeling.
How did you know I was gonna say O'Hare International?
Because you're about to say something controversial, like there's only one layover stop I can think of that would be like that.
John F. Kennedy, JFK. JFK's.
I don't know if I would call that that wouldn't be a proper connecting one.
Or Newark.
Also, not really.
Yeah, well, our
O'Hare is a very, very big hub.
O'Hare is the biggest hub. Is the biggest hub. All three legacy carriers stop there, and so does Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
So I would highly recommend you stop at O'Hare International. The screens indicating gate changes are everywhere. You cannot escape them. I think my co-host can attest for that.
Yes, I've been to O'Hare.
You cannot escape the screens, man. Like if you miss your connecting flight and because of a gate change, that's on you, man.
You were probably in the bathroom. Maybe.
They have screens in the bathroom.
Okay. Okay.
They have a legitimate TV on the side of the wall in the bathroom.
Nice.
I mean, and of course, bring a traveling companion with you. I would highly recommend that because, especially if you're not the most attentive person, i.e. myself, yeah, there's a reason why Soul Sleeper does a lot of work to earn that sponsorship. He's all like, yeah, I have to.
Yeah, I've had to travel alone.
You can bring companions with you.
A plush doll, sure.
A plush what?
A plush doll companion.
Your Nesselberries, man?
A Nesselberry or something.
Your sleeping honk? Well, actually, no. I don't think either one of us have sleeping honk.
No, I can't bother buying one.
Sleeping honk's kind of cute, man.
Cute, but redundant.
Oh, actually, no. Honk in pajamas can satisfy. But regardless, also, do not buy anything. Do not buy airport. That shit is expensive. And do not expect a meal on your carrier of choice unless it's included. Like, don't even expect the goddamn peanuts. Don't expect them. The drink, 50-50 chance.
If you're flying Southwest, you're getting something.
You're getting something. You're getting at least the drink. But United, actually, United's not bad. American, ooh, no.
Lamal American.
Delta and American is easily the worst of the three legacy carriers. Delta isn't terrible, but don't fly Alaska. Ooh, Alaska. Ooh.
Oh, I would also like to add, be aware of your if you choose to fly Spirit.
Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
Because yes, their flights are cheap, but they do that by saying almost everything you could think of has a charge.
Oh, of course.
Carry-on charged.
If you have, if you want a drink, that'll be $5, sir.
Oh, and another thing, there's no reclining seats. That's from what I've heard.
Yes, there's nothing. So do not fly Spirit either.
I mean, again, do it because you pack hella light. It's for the backpacker traveler more than anything.
Or if you're hella broke.
At that point, I would kind of ask you, why are you attending the event?
That is true.
I don't know about you, Gavin, but I wouldn't call a trip to nationals cheap by any sense of the word. Like, even if you were to fly Spirit, you're saving what? Maybe 100 or something? 200?
It's not worth it. It's really not worth it at that point. If you have to fly Spirit, if your only affordable path is flying Spirit Airlines, just stay home. Just tell Luke you're not going and get your program. It's the easiest and safest route. But for best value in terms of airline, by the way, please, unless you're absurdly rich, do not fly business or first class to Rochester. It's not worth it. Come on, man. I can't think of a single person in this community that would fly business class to Rochester International. Can you?
Maybe one.
Oh, really now?
Only because I think the person has a physical issue or something.
Okay, but the majority of people.
Right.
I don't think they would fly business class, even business class.
No, unless for some reason they're like, yeah, I'm gonna pretend to be on a business trip here, and then I'm like, what the?
You're on a business trip playing a card game,
How are you gonna write
or
that? How are you gonna write that off? Shh.
or or worse, first.
Damn.
Damn, this gotta be ball, yo. Be
I'm
ball,
kind of
yo.
more like, what the
What are you
fuck?
bringing? What are you playing at the event? A Max Rarity Dash?
Max already down. Let's go.
Trinity SSPs have gone down to 1,000 each.
That's still gonna be like an $8,000 deck, right?
I know, right? Hey, man, or go to one, man.
Quotable max rarity. That's getting in a gold
That's
in a 24 karat gold deck box.
Holy shit! What?
And mass flexing like 5 Rolexes.
How many Rolexes do you need to tell the time, man? Like, I have a diamond Rolex in real life, but
It's to make a statement that Mans is a true Gotobu simp.
holy shit! What is he dating a girl that fucking cosplays as one of them?
Okay, that's going a little too far.
Well, I mean,
You don't buy cosplayers.
huh?
You don't buy cosplayers.
You could with enough money. You could with enough money, man. You could.
The number of gold diggers in the cosplay community is pretty down there.
Have you seen the Twitter thoughts, man?
Like, I don't know if I would call Twitter thoughts necessarily cosplayers.
Well,
You could tell someone's cosplaying for attention more than cosplaying because they legitimately like the franchise. There's like non-smiling idol cosplayers.
I mean, I'll show you some, baby. But anyways, in terms of hotel, pick one with a goddamn shuttle. You want to avoid those Uber fees. Ubers in Rochester are not cheap.
Or any ride-sharing service, period.
I mean,
I
okay,
have heard of people who chose to rent a car for the weekend.
I paid $200 in Uber fees for 2 bloody days last year.
Holy shit.
Well, I also did one Uber Eats.
At that point, I would give a better solution. Pick a hotel that's within walking distance.
There are none.
The distance that the place that I stayed at, it was like a Holiday Inn. I wouldn't call that walkable.
In the middle of snow? Mate, it's snowing.
I do it.
I walked for a mile. I walked a mile away. A Holiday Inn that was about a mile and a half away. With Victor 3 years ago. It was freezing. I was a popsicle by the time we entered the Hamburger.
Holy shit.
We walked through the fucking snow.
And that's another thing. Prepare for very wintry weather. If you are in a place like, California, Nevada, Hawaii, Arizona, or whatever that you don't know what the fuck snow is, get ready to buy some winter clothes that you haven't already. Like actual winter clothes. We're talking like big. You got a friend living up in somewhere in Canada? Ask them. They might be able to point you in the right direction.
Right, especially Hawaii. Holy balls! They have no idea what the fuck snow. They know what 90% humidity is, but not snow.
But not snow. Yeah.
I would argue snow is worse than humidity.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. Snow's pretty bad.
Gavin, quick question. Are you more of a summer person or a winter person?
I'd rather bake.
Understandable. You and I are polar opposites.
Really? You'd rather freeze?
I just like being forced to strip down because it's too hot.
Oh, I see.
I dislike it when I have trouble sleeping because it's too hot.
So you'd rather freeze?
I'd rather freeze this.
Bake? I'm like, man, I'd rather bake.
I also like winter fashion more than summer fashion.
I'm much more of a summertime guy. Oh, man.
We are definitely opposites in that regard.
Yeah, well, we can't be too similar, man.
No, we can't.
But at the same time, okay, so it's gonna be freezing up.
Because this event happens November, December. Winter is pretty much setting. Do not listen to what your calendar says. We've passed that point.
Oh yeah, it's more of try zero at its worst.
Oh, I was gonna say more of winter begins as winter weather begins as early as like late September at this point.
Right, but I'm saying like be prepared for zero. Temperatures at zero.
Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Fahrenheit.
Let's
or
go.
freedom degrees, man.
Freedom degrees. Let's go.
Freedom degrees. Man, I don't know metric. Okay, I'm used to the imperial system. 100%. As an accountant.
I get where I need trick, by the way, if you're interested.
Oh,
16 degrees Celsius is 61 degrees Fahrenheit. 28 degrees Celsius is 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Cool. But like I said, I don't know, man. As an accountant, here in the U.S., all of our rules pretty much don't apply elsewhere. So that was pounded into me, reinforced through college, that, yeah, pretty much the only system that you need to know is imperial.
Amazing. Unless you're a scientist.
Pretty much, like, scientists do everything in metric.
Yeah, I think you've heard about how, like, a NASA mission got screwed because one person used imperial measurements.
Right. I think that person was fired, too.
F.
But, like I said, I'm not here to argue a metric.
We're not.
But at the same time, I'm going...
We're going prepare for that wintry cold.
Yes,
especially if you're not used to it.
Yes, 0 degrees in freedom
like, okay, if you're from Illinois, you already know what that's like. So you're probably good. If you're from California, and we're talking like urban California, so San Francisco, Los Angeles, metropolitan areas, or even San Diego, no. You don't know what the fuck snow is, I think.
Or Honolulu?
Or Honolulu. Got him.
You have no idea what snow is.
Or Phoenix, Arizona.
San Antonio, Texas. Miami, Florida. Hey man, you think the people in Miami know what snow is?
Overall, no. You know what hurricanes are.
Yes, or... Actually, no, the people in St. Louis. St. Louis do.
Yeah, they know snow.
Yeah, they know what snow is. Or
what about
Michigan.
How about New Orleans, Louisiana?
Oh hell no! They know what swamp ass is.
They do know what swamps are. They know what the bayou is.
Or hell, Detroit, Michigan. They definitely know what snow is.
They do. That's why you're ready. But these other places, nah.
The Dakotas too.
The Dakotas, of course, they know what snow is. Montana knows what snow is.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I think people in Billings know what snow is.
But you over here like by the coast, or you're over here by the desert? No.
No. No. But also breakfast, motherfucker. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day when it comes to this event.
I wish you were saying that. That's the most important meal of the day, period.
Yes. So get a hotel that offers it, because guess what?
As far as I know, I think everything in the nearby area has a continental breakfast of some sort.
Some places will charge you for it. Some places will charge extra for it. Hell, the Holiday Inn did. They charged my ass $10 extra per person. So yeah, $20.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but Denny's is cheaper. Lamel.
Okay, you don't have to try and eat through $4 or you can eat pancakes.
No. You know what? I told Soul Sleeper at the time, you know what? I'll person for convenience sake.
Mm-hmm.
And that breakfast is a hell of a lot more convenient, man.
It is, and it's probably higher quality than Denny's too.
Yeah, it's about roughly the same quality as Denny's. I don't know, man. Denny's has been. It's not exactly the bastion of quality food. It's little better than fast food, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're not going to see gourmet chefs work at Denny's.
No. I
At
mean,
least I hope not.
there's a reason why it's been able to become like this massively widespread chain. You don't get there by being carried by gourmet, necessarily.
No. But at the same time, make sure you eat that breakfast, because can you imagine dueling these high-level players stomach?
Oh hell no.
I tell this guy every time before a scrimmage, man, make sure you eat, man.
Mm-hmm. You make sure I do.
It's like, make sure you eat.
Even if I had to be a little late.
I was about to say, or, I don't know, man, like, I would highly recommend you get some protein in there, too. So, if you're vegetarian, eat some eggs. Unfortunately, though, for the vegan listeners out there, I'm not really an expert on vegan, so I won't really comment on vegan.
They should know what good sources of protein exist for them. I assume you became vegan, you've educated yourself on what's a good source of what nutrients.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely recommend that pork sausage, though, for us meat eaters. That pork sausage, pork bacon. Hey, man, you know, essentially the farmer's breakfast. I would definitely recommend the farmer's breakfast.
Isn't that more like a lumberjack breakfast?
Oh yeah, the lumberjack. Well, minus the hotcakes.
Mine's the hotcakes.
I'm not the biggest fan of hotcakes,
That's fair.
but I am a bigger fan of the Belgian waffle.
Alright, logistics aside. Definitely, like, if you can, attend as many, like, local tournaments as you can to try to make sure, or at least, if not local tournaments, meet with people, get some physical play experience in with the timer and everything going for you.
I don't know, man. Not every locale's enforces the timer. I know it's...
Okay, again, if not, I'd say if not a local tournament, get together with people to, simulate the actual event.
That's why you always see that 30-minute timer up in the corner for our scrimmages. That's why you will always see that 30-minute timer, even if we never follow it ourselves.
I try my best to remember to do it. Sometimes I forget.
Oh, well, I see it every time.
I think
At least post-editing.
I think the latest one I might have forgotten.
I haven't watched the latest scrimmage as of yet.
I don't remember trying it long. I think I was just like, oh, my bad elevator or something.
Well, again, I didn't remind you, so it's partially my bad too.
No. I should remember to play along.
but regardless, once lockdown, hopefully 2021 will return to a more normalized World Grand Prix.
If anything, maybe with some additional measures to ensure that people are not just all cramped up together.
Or add some goddamn screens. Hint, hint. Do the Japanese solution.
That may require a ballroom.
Yeah. Does Rochester even have a convention center?
It does, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay, then, well, perhaps, maybe Luke could...
If not a convention center, the Rochester Institute of Technology should have a facility that they could probably rent out.
Oh, yeah, true. The Rochester... The college there could, as well. Or Rochester University.
Yeah, like, Rochester is very much a college town.
Yeah, people call it a small town with nothing to do in it.
College town is almost typically like that if you think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean... majority of people are on their phones anyway.
Thanks, modern society.
Even I'm on my phone almost 24/7 now.
That's
That's kind of sad. And I have a no mobile phone. I don't play mobile games. I don't play mobile games for a good reason. Hell, I'm still a Call of Duty player, which a lot of people scoff at now. They're like, you still play COD? Holy crap, I quit that game a decade ago.
Oh yeah, speaking of phones, have that power bank if you don't have, or if you don't already.
Oh, of course. Bring your fucking charger with you. Because your phone will die. And Hammer Girl has very limited plug-in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bring the power bank.
It is only one shop. It's not there to facilitate 70 plus people's phones that need to be charged. I don't care how many hubs you bring, you're not gonna be able to charge everyone's phone.
Right.
And I unironically will bring a hub. For the hotel, of course.
Of course. I don't know, man. Can you trust the plug? Well, you can generally trust the plugs at most Rochester hotels.
Yeah.
Also, Rochester International Airport is quite small, so you'll be able to easily find your crap.
Also, again, we should make a side note of why do people like to turn on the thermostat up to like 80-something degrees Fahrenheit?
In Rochester hotels?
Remember, okay, the people I stayed with, a lot of them were from SoCal. They unironically turned the thermostat up to like 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I could not sleep that night.
Oh. Yeah, guess what? I spent my first year awake the entire night drinking coffee.
The fuck, man?
Cause Victor kept my ass up.
What did he do?
I don't fucking know. He was making a lot of fucking noise. I couldn't fucking sleep.
Okay, like at least my roommates were not making noise. It's just the temperature was unbearable.
So I went into that tournament. It's my first time. This is my second year of playing. On barely any sleep. I don't even know how I did so well. I don't know. I think luck sacking got me there.
Hey, again, anything can happen in this game.
Yeah, but when you're half asleep with barely any experience, you kind of suck. Well, I don't know, man. You tend to suck. You tend to rely on sacking to win.
Anyway, any other preparations tips we need to probably mention here when it comes to like the non-pandemic side of things?
Pretty much, just take it like previous years. Ignore 2020 completely. And pretty much you'll be fine. Oh, and make sure you have airborne. Make sure you start chugging airborne like a madman.
No, you really don't want to catch that cold.
You really don't want to catch that cold.
And I will also say this. Before you go, get vaccinated for that flu shot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you don't want to get the flu either. Oh, man.
So yeah, keep the vitamin C levels up, get vaccinated, and
drink some orange juice during that morning breakfast.
That OJ.
Yep, that OJ. Oh, it's so good. But anyways, any closing thoughts, man?
Closing thoughts overall. So, yeah, preparing for nationals might seem overwhelming at first, but if you just learn to break it down and learn to approach things with an open mind and be more humble, you will definitely find some new insightful things that will make you not only a better player, but also a better person as well.
Humility is something that we could all learn. And we could all master.
Definitely. Alrighty?
And also, please be mindful of the ban list. Please be mindful of it. It exists for a reason.
Yeah, do not be that person who accidentally enters with an illegal deck because you forgot that a card in your title is choice restricted with another one in your deck.
Or straight up banned.
Or straight up banned. Heaven forbid it's 2014 and you're still playing Junyo.
Or the costuming pro.
Oh man.
It's either that. Hey man, would you rather see her back or Junyo?
Oh, what is this question? That is so cancerous. Because I think Cosme is less of a problem than Junio.
Wow, I think I'd actually rather see Junio back.
No, I think Junio's an actual mistake, more so than Cosme.
Oh, crap, I think I'd rather see Junio back, man.
You're crazy.
What do you mean?
Again, you're talking about Junio in a title that unironically has access to anti-heal.
Fucking Ram Shitter's in for 2 every lane.
Yes, does that sound fair and balanced to you?
No.
I guess sounds less fair and balanced than Cosme discard 2 to find 2 specific cards that will work for me at level 1.
True. At least, I mean, like I told James, you can have Action Bastard back when and you know what James' response was? Fuck it, you can have her back. I want Action Bastard back, damn it.
Oh my goodness. Alright, anyway, before this goes way too far, I think we're pretty much... I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're good here, boys.
Alright, so everyone, I want to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video if you definitely like what you heard here. Subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell because this all
helps the YouTube algorithm out.
And with that, we will catch you all next time. Bye bye.